Robert Redford. Yeah. What's that?
Chris, you know I'm a big UFC fan.
Okay.
The way
Oh,
they
GSP.
the way they did my boy GSP in here, he should have been fucking shit up a lot more because that dude can like legitimately fight, like
Okay.
legit. Other than that, I had a great time with this movie. And I like what you said, James, about how each character, like the important characters, more so to speak, had their moments.
Mhm.
And literally each character had their fucking moments, sometimes multiple moments. And I loved how it kind of pointed that out. Like, yes, this was a Captain America movie, but it gave a few other characters shine for like.
Thank you, chat.
And this is me going from never seeing this film before or never seeing it all the way through. So I'm just thinking of future films where it's like they give certain characters that shine, especially if you're new to the thing. Say you never read the comic books, and
Mm-hmm.
I had never had. Let's say you never seen the animated series, and these movies are your first introduction to it. It gives you kind of a shine to like, okay, I know I'm gonna learn these characters that they're showing in this movie. I know I'm gonna learn more about them later on down in this Marvel universe, and I fucking love that about it because the characters they show and like the parts where they show them at like real powerful moments, they're not showing them for no reason. They're
Right.
not showing them for no reason. It's not like a wasted thing. Like, okay, they're only going to be in this movie, besides GSP, unfortunately. But they didn't show him in like a really powerful thing. Like you seen him mostly sitting and then fighting for like 30 seconds for the most part. So
Mhm.
Well,
yeah,
that's kind of interesting though. So, James, it almost sounds like you weren't really a fan of like the comics, or you didn't know much about the series or anything until these movies came out.
No, I was always really into like cartoons.
Okay.
I didn't have if there were comic book stores nearby, I never knew about them. I always I spent my money on video games. I didn't spend them on comics or anything like that. So
Understand.
I knew of Captain America from like when he would pop up in Spider-Man or whatnot, but like no, not much. So like this is literally like people have their thing, and this like later on in life, this was my thing. Like
Okay.
my thing came later. It was the MCU. So I, watch all the reactions. I read all the conspiracy theories of what could be in the next movie, like all the way back to like this movie. Like as soon as they announced Spider-Man was going to be in the MCU, that's when I was like, it was it. I was done. I was in. I couldn't get enough. I burned through YouTube until I seen every video. Like that's just how it was.
Oh,
and
that's so awesome.
I like how you said because for me, DC, all the animated series stuff, all that shit. And for me, it started with the movies, like the earlier movies and the cartoons. It was never the comic books. I never got into it, but I feel like for me, and maybe for you guys as well, if you've never gotten into the comic books, just like having older siblings or older cousins, they were watching the cartoons, they were watching the movies, and I was the youngest at the time. So it's like, you always want to do what they're doing, and that's what they were doing. They weren't reading comic books. If they were reading comic books, I'm sure I would have a huge collection of comic books now. But it was the movies, it was the animated series, and it was video games. And so that's kind of what got me into all that, and that's what I'm still into to this day. So
Mhm.
it's yeah, and I fucking Chris knows I love the animated series across the board, across the fucking board. Live action DC, you dropped the ball, but we already know this.
Listen, you got some good news. You got some good news. It's bought by Discovery. They're cleaning house, getting some new people in there to start, make the DC its own thing. You never know.
So they're
A
doing
couple of
it.
years.
So they're doing it over
I don't know
again.
if it's good news because
I don't think they're gonna do it over. I think they're gonna take what's good, eliminate what's bad,
So
bring back the people like that. The former executives pissed off, like Henry Cavill, bring him back
basically, what
and
you're
try.
saying is they're gonna start over. They're gonna start over from a clean slate.
there's gonna be
Clean
soft
start,
reboots.
maybe
Soft
something different.
reboots.
Yeah, I think soft reboots. I think they're
Yeah,
gonna keep Momoa. I think there's some actors you just can't get rid of, like Momoa. You
no,
gotta,
no, no, no. Get rid of Momoa as Aquaman. He sucks. He's garbage. He's
Bro,
horrible.
he makes too much money.
He's a nice guy and a pretty boy. That's the only reason why he's in Aquaman.
He
He's
makes
a
too much
terrible actor.
money.
He's a terrible actor. DC, do you want this to be like a thing how Marvel is? Get rid of
Listen,
the shitty actors. That's
can't
not
make-
how good they look.
you can't talk about my man Momoa like that. I remember him back in the Stargate SG-1 days, man. I can't, come
Wait, he
on,
was
man.
in Stargate SG-1?
Yeah, he was. No, Atlantis. But yes, in those.
Seriously?
Yeah.
What the fuck?
Yeah, that was him. That's him. Probably without a beard was probably why you didn't recognize him, but yeah.
Oh,
Mm-mm.
hell no.
He's a bad actor, guys.
I
I'm
didn't
telling you, he's a
realize
bad
that.
actor.
Holy shit. Holy
Yeah.
shit, mind blown.
I can't even apologize for it, man. He's just not a good actor. He's not a good enough actor to play like an Aquaman role, and I don't think Aquaman deserves a full movie. He can be like in the Justice League. He doesn't need to have his own solo movie. Same with Superman. There's
Right.
just certain characters that I feel don't need a solo movie, and those are two of them. And I'm gonna throw Thor in that category as well as the Hulk. Just put them
No,
in
he
the.
had the beard. He had the beard. Ronan Dex. That was his character name. He was one of the main four guys. Yeah. Yeah.
Chris, I have to go back and watch it now.
Yo, I never even put that. Holy fuck. Okay.
And then there was Rodney McKay, the OG House. The House before House did it.
Yeah.
Oh,
Him I
man.
remember.
Yeah.
God damn, that's crazy. I'm so glad I'm doing this podcast. Oh man. All right, so this movie starts out off the rip with a little bit of a political undertone happening, right? You got the situations occurring because the world realizes how great superheroes are, but also how destructive they are and how fucking much they've actually hurt certain things and innocent people have gotten hurt. And that just starts you off with this fucking complexity to the movie just off the rip that you're like, damn, that's true, but then and it just keeps you teetering back and forth because you're like, damn, and I love this because this is what obviously sets the pace for Civil War or whatnot, right? I mean, this is where Civil Wars. This is the brewing, and the Civil Wars the culmination and the climax of the situation. But this just makes me this whole fucking movie just literally is like, and I keep saying this throughout these movies, they get like the human condition down so much in these movies to keep people like relating to it and kind of reflecting on things because now we're really in a political space. Now we're really in a, okay, who's the good guy, who's the bad guy? You might be good, but what are you doing for the good? Do the means, or does the ends, warrant the means or whatnot? And I love that aspect of it because you always, no matter what, you may be doing the right thing, but what's the old saying? Good intent, or the road to hell
Road
is
to
paved
Hell.
by good intentions.
Oh yeah.
So
Yeah.
I love shit like that. I love when they make you kind of think and stop for a second because without that and without this, you're just 100% the whole way. They're superheroes, there are people, that's it. But now you got to think about the other aspects of these things that happen. I mean, and then later on, as the series continues, which we'll talk about later, you get Wachovia, you know what I mean? And like, it's like, fuck, man, you get the whole, you'll see in Age of Ultron. But I fucking love shit like this. I really do. These fucking movies are just so good at storytelling.
Oh yeah.
Unlike
Um,
movies we reviewed earlier today.
Yeah, well. And that's why we got this to cap it off for us. We go low and now we're coming back up high.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
What happened earlier? What was earlier? Just one of your horror movie?
No, it wasn't. It was the Popcorn and Pints. We did a movie. We reviewed Crybaby and Lost Angels.
Okay. I don't know either of those, so that's out of my.
You're
You
fine.
don't want.
You're fine.
Okay.
You're not
Yeah.
missing anything in life right now.
All right.
But yeah, just no.
Yeah,
Just no.
they were. I didn't not like them as much as some of the other guys or whatnot. They were kind of middle of the road for me, borderline of the, hey, should I have even wasted my time type deal? Because my shit is like, if it's under a 5, it's like, I'm probably never gonna watch this again. I probably won't ever tell anybody to watch it type deal. You know what I mean?
And I'm the opposite.
Yeah.
I'm the complete opposite. But from it's more so with horror, but all across the board, I'll never tell you not to watch a movie because you might like it. Even if I hate it, you might like it for whatever reason.
True.
And so I'm not gonna tell you not to watch it. I'll just say watch at your own risk. Like I'm not gonna recommend it. So I'll watch at your own risk. That way, if you watch it, you can. Oh fuck you, sir! You told me to watch this shit. No, I didn't. I said watch at your own risk.
And you'll have that. So,
But to springboard off what you said, Chris, the political intrigue and stuff, to take my man Captain America, frozen in ice from the 40s, doesn't know how to like turn on a computer, doesn't really understand what's going on in the world. He just wants to be a soldier, follow orders, take a crew in somewhere and do something. and then he finds out he can't trust the people giving him orders. He can't trust the people following orders. Like Natasha's apparently doing her own thing while he thinks that she's doing what he commands her to. He doesn't know. Like, take a man who's there to follow orders, there to solve a mission, and then and do what do be a good soldier, and then find out that nobody he doesn't know who to trust, doesn't know what's right, and then he's got his man Sam over there going, "Hey man, I'm out. I'm just doing my thing. I'm not even a soldier anymore." So he's like, "What do I do? Like maybe this isn't for me anymore." You got these things that are flying. You got this guy that can just make a suit of armor for himself, and he doesn't even need to like know how to fire a gun. And then here I am, with just a shield. What am I doing? And just to follow him, and then all of a sudden, once he knows who the bad guy is, it's like, great, I'm back in it. I know what I can do. Just
Yep.
point me at these guys, and I'll take them out. Like, that's it. So I like that part of his story where you're like, okay, he's a super soldier and he thinks he can do anything, but then if he doesn't know who to trust, then now he has to figure out who to trust. That's part of being in this new world. It's kind of like commentary on post 9/11. Trust,
Mm-hmm.
liberty versus freedom, like all that stuff is happening in this movie to this guy that just he basically Rip Van Winkle for 60 years of his life away.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Hell yeah. Hell
And
yeah.
I'm sure Sturdy will touch on it, but these movies always do a good job at also touching on like the core messages of like character, right? The people themselves have these certain compasses, internal compasses that lead them and make and allow them to make certain decisions as their characters. You know what I mean, of their own character. So with Cap, it's always he's always been a super moral person and always wanted to do right. He was always the underdog, even though he get his ass kicked. He just wanted to make sure that he was either standing up for the little guy or standing up to someone who thought they were just gonna run shit or be a bully or whatnot. He didn't care. Like, his famous line is, "I can do this all day." You know what I mean? He's on his last breath. He's dizzy. I can still do this all day. Come on, you know what I mean?
Yep.
So it's super dope that they do that, and they always reflect back to that, and that's one of the other things that I really enjoy about this because it's always a constant reminder to you. It always shows you and always keeps you on track with that person and what's going on and how you can't. It's not that you're gonna anticipate how they're gonna react because these situations are changing, especially like in this movie. He's put in a position where he doesn't know who's an ally. You know what I mean? He doesn't know who to trust, like you said. He doesn't know what the hell's going on. The world's changing. Now people are and once the next movie comes, he's even more conflicted because he's like, all right, so now we just got this shit grounded, and now we have to figure out if we're doing the right thing anyway. Like, but we just did all this shit. We just saved the world. So it's so to be in that position, like you said, I wish the world can be simpler. You know what I mean? And I get where he's coming from on that aspect. And it just drives the force through that no matter what, as long as you stick to you and you stick to who you are and you're true to that and you don't deviate from that, you don't let any outside influences cause you to steer and become something that you weren't meant to be or you're not, you're gonna be fine. And yeah, you might have to battle through some shit, but stay true, stay on your path, stay forward, like he's
Yeah.
a good soldier, you know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah. No, you're right with that. You're right with that. And just again, Captain America really didn't need too much growth, personal wise, and just moral wise.
Mm.
Maybe more so loosen up for him. It'd be loosening up, kind of not taking life so serious and kind of enjoying it more. And I feel we see him in Avengers, we see him in the first Captain America movie. You see him loosen up a little more each film, which I do enjoy because again, he needs to be, in a sense, in a small sense, he almost needs to be a little bit more like Tony Stark. Not the cockiness, so to speak, but more so just the enjoying the moment. He needs to be a little bit more like that and less soldier all the time, less like ready for an order. Let's go do this. It's like no, just kind of relax a little bit, enjoy life. The rest will come, and it could possibly make you a better soldier because you're kind of just letting your mind and your body kind of just relax. You're not always on fucking alert and always on point, or like always just ready to go because you don't always have to be. And I like how little by little he kind of opens up a little bit more, especially with what's her name, Black Widow
Mm.
first for a little bit, and then he with Nick Fury too. With Nick Fury too, I'll say those are like the main ones in this movie, of course, and it just kind of shows it shows more of a personal side of him. You're not just seeing the great, awesome, amazing American hero. You're seeing the person, Steve Rogers, not just seeing Captain America, which I like that a lot.
Yeah, I mean to just kind of give a little bit to that. There's certain instances in these movies where I think it was in Avengers. Was it in Avengers 1 or is it in the next one, Age of Ultron? But like I think it's one of the first scenes where they're in a battle, and it might be Age of Ultron, which this is gonna. It's not really spoiler, but whatever. One of the first scenes, they're in the middle of a fight in the woods or something like that, and everybody's bouncing off each other on the communicators while they're fighting their fight. And what was it? Somebody said a
Tony Stark.
curse, and
Tony Stark.
he's
Yeah.
yeah, and he's like language, and then later on he gives it back to him. You know what I mean? So it's like, all right, man, calm down, little scout. Calm down, little boy scout. It's like, free up a
Yeah.
little bit. You're kicking ass. You're beating people. You're fucking destroying them out here. But we can't say damn or hell or, you know what I mean? It's like, all right.
To the point of Captain America, something that Sturdy was talking about is him not needing a lot of growth. This is one of the first movies in a while, or one of the first movies I remember where the main character is the one that doesn't change. Usually it's the environment that's the same and the character's not fit for it or not adapted well and they have to learn to adapt. And really it's him staying on the straight and narrow and trying to influence the others around him. And the ones that he does influence are on his side, and the ones he doesn't are the enemy.
That's true.
And so that's it seems like whenever anybody talks about writing a character, especially a main character, they have to have something that they change and something that a flaw that they need to overcome. And this is one where it's like, no, like the world is flawed. I'm trying to make it better, and I am going to do what I can do and influence those around me to be better, so that way we can overcome those people that are trying to, assert themselves negatively on us. So that's one of the things I liked a lot too. Like maybe there's more that he needs to grow with later. Maybe there's more flaws that will come out. But this is a movie about him existing in this world. The one that Nick Fury talked about, where he's like, he outlined how the world has changed. There's a story about his grandpappy. Things used to be nice, and then the world or the neighborhood or the world got worse. So now we have guns and we have militaries and armies to protect ourselves. And he's saying, no, that's not freedom, that's fear. And so he's trying to overcome that to the people around him. So that's another reason why I love this movie. We haven't even talked about the Winter Soldier, who's half the title.
And that's the other part of this that then because there's always a notion of duality in pretty much everything. So you got your light, your dark, your red, your blue, your fire, your ice, right? And this one, yeah, he's a bad guy, but he's not. He's under mind control. And I think they did a great fucking job, especially like when this dude first rolls out and he's just kicking fucking ass, bro. He is wrecking shit. Like he is just destroying people. He's going through walls. He's fucking flipping cars and shit. He's just badass. Straight badass. I fucking loved it. And Bucky is literally, as the Winter Soldier, probably honestly, he's probably one of my top 2 or top 3. He might even be my favorite character in the entire MCU. And people be like, but he's not that big of a deal. No. Listen, he rivals Cap. He rivals, like, he can kick ass. He'll take on the Hulk. I mean, if he wasn't under the mind control and having to, like, be reprogrammed in Wakanda and shit after this shit, like, I would have loved to see more of him in the build up to the fight for, Thanos and the Infinity Stones and all that shit. He was just, I love Winter Soldier. I love the Winter Soldier. Like, he is the most, to me, he's like the modern day version of the Green Ranger. You know what I'm saying? Like, he's the good guy, he's the buddy, but then he was being controlled by Rita Repulsa. You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah, I mean, you could even say Venom to an extent.
Yeah, I guess he is kind of an anti-hero, but then he becomes
I was thinking more Terminator.
I guess
he just walks in and does his thing and gets out. Like he doesn't. He doesn't go around people. You have to go around him. Like he just goes gets right to the point.
I fucking love that though. I fucking like I said, he's so badass because Rogers is literally that, but Rogers is more of the when need be. You know what I mean? If the situation calls for, I'm gonna do what I gotta do. Where obviously Bucky is just like, fuck it, this is my programming, and it kind of sucks to be in that position. But then it also it's a little discerning because he's programmed to do this. He has the words that get read out of the book to make him bring out this side of him, right? Then which by the way, we'll get touch on that a little bit later. All I gotta say is MK Ultra. Anyway, I'll explain in a second, Sturdy. But then like he's there, he's in those seats in the Soviet seat or whatnot. This guy's controlling him, but he's still there. It's so weird because it's such a weird situation where he's of mind, but he's not. He's outside of it. Even though he's there, he can see it. He knows what's going on. He's not doing it. He's doing it reluctantly, pretty much because of just the thing, and he's just along for the ride. And then to get him reprogrammed to keep him back under that control, he has to be pretty much tortured and brainwashed over and over and over again. And like I almost wish at some point it would have been a case of the programming just fails. He like fights it off to a certain point, and then that's where some. But still, I'm not nitpicking. I love this movie and I love the way they did things. I'm just saying they could have went a different route with the whole freeing his mind type deal and having him no longer be the evil Winter Soldier. You know what I'm saying? But
Yeah.
I
Oh yeah. Oh, and like you were saying, he's like the perfect opposite of Captain America. The perfect opposite, the perfect battle for him because it's not just a physical battle, it's a mental battle for them both. Captain America remembers everything, and he remembers bits and pieces of shit, and he doesn't know what's true and what's not. But it's like they know each other's moves at the same time. Like they know each other's fighting styles and everything. Because you don't see anybody else I don't know from after this, but up to this point, you don't see anybody else handling Captain America's shield like it's their own. And Bucky just fucking handled that shit like it was his own. And
Mm-hmm.
it was just an awesome battle. It was such a fucking awesome battle, and I kind of wish, like you were just saying, Chris, like the mind control thing maybe lasted for another movie or two just to see this battle a little bit longer, because it was such a great fucking fight.
Yeah.
And again, it was
Yes.
physical, mental, emotional, all that shit. It wasn't just the physical. It's way deeper than that.
Yeah. In future times, you see Bucky, they'll give you reminders that
mm-hmm.
of that. They will give you reminders. They will come up.
Good, good.
So it's great. Oh, and I don't know. Do you have you either you guys heard of Corridor Crew, the YouTube channel there?
Mm-mm.
No.
They do they react and they'll have people come in that do like special effects or they'll get stunt people in.
Okay.
So they've had a lot of the stunt people, like the stunt person that does Black Widow and the stunt person that was the Winter Soldier and all that. The stunt man that was in the elevator fight,
Mm-hmm.
which is really badass. One of the guys in there actually doubles as Black Panther later in one of the movies. Like he's in the suit,
Ah.
like he'll be in the suit. So like all these guys, they're in all these movies all the time. They're constantly coming in, and they get to on the spot really ad lib or add to these fights. So the guy that was the Winter Soldier is there with Chris Evans. Like they're figuring out the knife flip. Like when he switches hands by flipping the knife and then like keeps going. Like that was something that's like, oh, why don't we should add this thing to him. He has to have his own character. We have to do something really cool, badass, even if it's really stupid in real life to flip your knife while you're fighting somebody. But um, they said like, okay, well we'll add this in, and I guess Chris Evans used to be a tap dancer, so he understands choreography,
Okay.
and he wanted to do most of his own stunts, so he could actually learn it like in two or three moments, 2 or 3 practices, they would get it and just keep going. So
That's awesome.
it's crazy how much, and that's another thing that I loved about this movie was like you see how the way Marvel does is they have these guys, Joe and Anthony Russo, come in and they're like, you know how to tell a story, you know how to get dialogue, you know how to get character moments out of each other. And then we have these other group of directors that are always going to be on the set and they can do actions. You just tell them what you want in the action scene, they'll get these guys going and they'll get it done. So that way the directors can focus on the moments, like
Yeah,
when 2 or 3 characters in a room talk to each other, you can get those moments, you can get the heartfelt moments. And then when you want to have something badass, just give it to these directors, they'll take care of it. So but
wow.
that, yeah, anytime it was Captain America, Winter Soldier, and then like Black Widow coming in, and like each like you take a 5-second clip, and that's like the best action scene from another movie, and it's throughout this whole movie. There's so many moments where if I go back, I'm like, oh yeah, that was a badass moment, him like using the shield to like deflect the bullets back at the freaking Gatling gun. I was like, oh my god, like why?
So badass.
All
Fucking
right, sorry, I'm gonna,
now you're
I'll
good. The
stop.
elevator scene, fucking, I love that shit when it's like, all right, shit's about to hit the fan. Cap's obviously not an idiot, you know what I mean? So it's he's gullible. I guess you can say he's kind of gullible and naive, but only to a certain point. And then it's like, all right, so before we begin, anybody want to get off?
Yes.
And then the guy turns around. It's just fucking him and 6 dudes or 8 dudes.
I'm
Just
telling you right now, Captain America gives you that warning. I'm getting the fuck off.
I'm like, yeah, you win, bro. You got this.
I'm done.
It's like trying to get on the basketball court with Michael Jordan and LeBron James. Like, it's not gonna happen unless I got 12 people. Like, they can go 1-on-12 of like us normal people. You know what I mean? Like,
2-on-12 easily. It'd be embarrassing. And us normal people aren't fucking 7 feet tall either. It's like, fuck it. I'm just gonna sit my ass down. I'm only 5'8". There's nothing I could do.
Guys, we got one shot at this. You gotta element of surprise. Don't just play it cool. Play it cool. Don't let them know anything's up. Hey, everybody, want to get out? We know. Oh, damn it! All right, guys.
And this will be LeBron and Jordan at their ages now. Like not both in their prime, because that's just impossible. This is now.
Yeah.
I'm not ashamed to say I'd probably fucking get my ankles broke by MJ. I'm not gonna lie.
I'm just gonna sit that one
Fucking beer bellied at 55 years old, and I'll still probably get my ankles fucking shattered.
And I'll probably have the tongue hanging out and all that other bullshit too. Talk shit. But you know what? Fuck this shit.
And not for nothing, but Frank Gallo, right? That's his name. That played the one evil dude that comes back later in the
Frank
fucking
Grillo.
suit. Yeah,
Frank Grillo.
from the Purge and shit. Fuck, I love him. Don't get me wrong, but listen. All right, I know it's a movie, but after this motherfucker jumped out a plane with no parachute, you think I'm gonna be like, yeah, I'll take those orders?
Yeah.
Like, yo, boss said go help these guys take down Cap, and I'd be fucking, what happened? No, he fucked us up, man. Like, as soon as the fight's over, like, oh, he fucked us up.
You'd be like Jim Carrey and Liar in the bathroom, just beating your own ass, and be like, "Oh man, did you see what he did? He just ran that way."
Do you mind? Oh man. Oh. What happened? Or you go in there like, yo, he fucked us all up, but you don't have a scratch on you. Like, well, I seen him fucking everybody else up, and you know, we setting the best fighters up ahead for a reason. You guys saved me for last because I just look tough. Yeah, fuck this shit. I came back. You go get him, boss.
Yeah, I pulled a star scream. Boss, maybe we should get out of here to fight another day. Like,
I hurt my knee.
Yeah. I got a boo-boo. I had to go reset. I called timeout.
Peter Griffin.
It's just in the corner.
By the way, those guys are, speaking of Power Rangers, those guys are just putties, because because like,
yeah,
he has the Winter Soldier. Why are you sending all those guys in an elevator with him? Just send the, like, you know what I mean? Those guys are like, I think Pierce knew that they weren't gonna work. He was just throwing them in there. He maybe didn't like them. I don't know what happened, but like,
that's a good point. They are like it's just like waste time to like get that plane going a little bit more. It's like it's just
well,
before Rita throws her stick down and things get real big.
Watch my monster grow.
I love that. I gotta go back and watch that.
Fucking get Goldar in the back. Like,
and then we got Lord Zed. Oh man.
Not for nothing though, but if they would have done that, then it would have gave it away even sooner, and then he would have known for sure that, you know, the main guy is the one under control. Because up to that point, he still wasn't sure who or what the fuck happened or who, you know what I mean? And the last thing you're thinking of is the top of the top is like Hydra. Like, it's like, how did that even happen? Which, man, again, they do such a great job because later on in more of the films later, you're like, are you fucking serious?
Mm-hmm.
Like, how the fuck is... God damn, they really do got like 9 fucking heads.
Mm-hmm.
I love how they threw my man Stan in this, man. That was just fucking hilarious. Captain America suit's gone. I'm gonna get fired for this.
Oh yeah. Which great job, because that Avengers Cap suit wasn't the best. No. So going back.
My guy. I said that shit. I was like, yo, what's up with these fucking uniforms in Avengers?
I thought it was good. But like, it's just like when I was a kid and I went and saw Phantom Menace and thought it was a good movie, and like you see the other ones, and you're like, no.
But I mean,
It
Which,
wasn't. It wasn't good.
but the good thing about, here's what I like about the ugly suits that we all complain about, or brief, or not even like complain, but like our little discrepancy with the movies is just like in the comics, I'm sure, and just like in the animated series, they get better as time goes on. And I like how the films actually stuck with that instead of them having their, let's just say, their final form, for better like a term. It wouldn't have been as good because you're getting the personal progression, you're getting all that other stuff. I feel like you should
Yeah,
also get the progression with their gear. You should definitely get that as well as
we,
everything else.
yeah, you can write it off as.
Yes.
I mean, Coulson made that suit, so you get, and he was really corny too. So
Yeah.
like even within the story, even if you don't like the meta reason of like, oh, they think we need to modernize the suit, so we'll give them something really cheesy. Like
Mhm.
in the story, the guy that made it's really cheesy, and then but now he has to go back. They do a really good job of integrating like practical things that you're doing in the movie with story reasons as to why the character's doing it. So like even
Exactly.
then I'm like, oh yeah, you go back to his old suit and it just looks so
Yep.
badass.
Yeah. And it worked. I mean, and it made sense and it works because he's like, when they're like, I don't remember what they say exactly, but basically, what are you gonna do if you have to basically kill Bucky? And he's like, if he doesn't remember, and he's like, he'll remember me. And then he goes back and
Yep.
gets his old suit, which Bucky would remember, and I'm sure it helped jog his
Even
memories.
better. Yep.
So
Even better.
it worked versus if it's the new Captain America from what 50 years later or whatever it was. He may recognize him somewhat, but he's not gonna recognize that suit because it's gonna be from completely from the future. He has no memory of the future. He'd have a memory of the past, of course, even with just brief glimpses. So it makes sense. And they
I
made
didn't
it.
even I didn't even think of that because I just thought he didn't have it. I thought it was like quarantined or whatever, or like so I thought he had to go get a new suit and just went back got his old suit. But that is also a really good point that like I'll get my old suit because it'll remember me from when I wore it.
Mhm.
That's awesome. Yeah.
And I mean, and the reason why I feel that and say that is just because of when he said he was just like he'll remember me, and he was like real confident about that. And someone
Mhm.
like Captain America said some shit like he's probably fucking right. Versus like if it was Tony Stark, and he's like he'll remember me. You're like, you know what, Tony? Have you been drinking today? Like, does this guy even know you? Just because you're so cocky and you think everybody knows who you are, you're kind of iffy on that. But if
Yeah.
Captain America says it, you're like, he knows what he's fucking talking about. He knows exactly what he's talking about.
And
I
I
believe.
mean, Winter Soldier was a problem at this point, right? So Cap is like, by all means, if it's the last thing I do, I'm either gonna get this guy to remember me or I'm gonna die trying. So he's like, let me take it back to where I came from. Let me take it back to, where it all started for me, and I'm gonna do what I was meant to do. I'm gonna go and be Captain America at this point. And to him, that was it. Now the modernized suit comes and shit like that. He's like, no, no, let me just in case, let me go out the way I'm gonna go out. You know what I mean? Because this guy fucking flew a goddamn plane into the ocean. I mean, come on, like,
Yeah.
I
He
mean, that
did.
has sentimental value.
He definitely fucking did.
I
But yeah.
fucking love this movie. I love this movie, and I was telling Sturdy this on one of the other episodes that like up until a certain point, I would tell people this was my favorite Marvel movie. Period, hands down. Like the action, the storytelling, the fucking contrast between the hero, the back and forth of like his morals versus who to trust, who not to trust, and is he now doing the mission right? And then you bring in Civil War and you group that into this, and it's just I fucking love these movies. I love these movies. It's unfortunate that we had certain movies like Thor where it's like those are the lesser of the
Drop
bunch.
off.
Those
Yeah.
are the like what I mean. Those are the ones under the cupboard. Those are the Harry Potters. You know what I mean? And under the stairs siblings to these movies because
Yeah.
I didn't like them all that much. Like they're the lowest scoring. I think I gave them like a 7 or something like that.
7. Yep.
Yeah.
How'd
7.
you feel, James,
Dark World.
about any of the Thor movies?
Oh. I
Ragnarok's
mean,
my favorite, which we got to get
yeah.
to on one of the next ones. But of them all, they're still
They're yeah.
compared
They're
to all of
they're
these.
they're okay. What what Marvel does great actually is even if something isn't good, when things come up later, it pluses the movies that came before by like
Mhm.
calling it back or like giving maybe mundane moments a reason to like later on, like when a character does something, you're like, oh yeah, that reason that maybe I wasn't paying attention to, that thing that they were going through,
Yeah.
that that
Yep.
pays off. That happens later, and then when you go back watch the movie, it goes, oh yeah, because this character was going through this or thought this, they did this later. So like, yeah, they're not great, but even like really not great Marvel movies are better. Like freaking Morbius just came out, and people are like, really? we're like we before pre-Marvel, like maybe this would have flown, but like this
Mm.
is not what movies are now. Like this isn't how this goes. Like everything things have to make sense. Things have to you have to show that you gave time and energy into like what character's doing, why they're doing it. Like there's so many like Easter eggs in these movies of like, oh yeah, the reason why this is on their suit is because like in the previous movie when this happened, they're remembering that character. Like there's so much that happens that like you have to like they're showing to pay attention. Like you're on set for like 2 years. Like, there's 2 years of pre-production, so you have 2 years to really fine tune like moments of the character, moments of the scene, and what they're doing, what they're eating, and that's Kevin Feige's just a freaking nerd. He's thinking about this stuff all the time.
I
Um,
fucking love that you said that because I literally made the statement that filmmakers, period, no matter what genre it is, need to take note because these are the reference of movie making nowadays. This is how you tell stories. This is how you keep things cohesive. You don't have too many plot holes, and if you do, they're so small and wrapped with so much fucking bacon around them, you don't give a fuck because it's so good. Like, this is filmmaking. This is storytelling. Like, this is
um,
our modern day, gods, our folklore. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Joe and Anthony Russo, because they're brothers, they were doing like one of those honest trailer things for this movie, and they asked, "Did you guys fight about anything? Like, I'm sure you guys had opinions. Like, we got along on all the big things. It was like, where would Captain America leave his shield in the apartment when he's not there? That's the stuff we would argue about. Like, so like if you remember, he had to sneak back into his apartment. Like, he had to sneak back into his apartment, go somewhere and grab his shield, and like they argued incessantly about where his shield would be left. So like, would he leave it by the door? Would he leave it under his bed? Like, where would that shield be if he left the apartment and had to come back and get it? Like, it was just like
question.
that's the kind of stuff you want your filmmakers to be thinking about, not like, oh, somebody created this costume, so that's why they're wearing it. Somebody in our costume department created it. Like
I
I
mean,
like that. I like that thought. It's funny, and it seems like it's one of those things you don't even think about. Honestly, you don't think about it. You're just like he fucking always has it with him. Why? Where else would
yo,
he have?
could you imagine being on set and they get into a squabble and it's settled with fucking Rochambeau and they're fucking rock, paper, scissors and the shit? Like, you know what? Fuck you,
It?
asshole. Ha!
Oh, you know what? No. Fuck this. I'm calling mom.
oh no, oh,
Oh yeah, we'll call her dad. Or he's got the parents.
no, that's not fair. She always sides with you. You know that.
You're her
Like,
favorite.
it's either that or you got their parents looking at their phones like, oh, our sons are calling again. Ignore.
Yeah.
Fuck them. They should know better by now.
Why is this movie behind schedule? The mom's not picking up the phone. They can't get anything done.
Oh shit! But I did want to go back to what I said earlier about which I want your opinion on this. Um, Thor. I feel if those movies never happened, let's say, right, and they just had like the important parts of those movies, but they had them say like a part of the Avengers or a part of like an Iron Man movie, like a side quest kind of thing, or even like a Hulk slash Thor, where both of their stories. I know the Hulk movies were shitty. Say they redid them, they Marvelized them after the fact, and kind of put those two together in stories, or maybe just had their stories as like a little side quest in the Avengers films. I think that would have been so much better. I don't think they don't need singular films. I feel the same way about Superman, but they don't need singular films because it's like for Thor, you only care about when he's fighting and all that other shit, doing cool shit. For Hulk, you only care about Hulk when he's the Hulk. Same with Superman. You don't care about Clark Kent, you just care about Superman. Batman's interesting. Iron Man interesting because you care about Tony Stark, you care about Bruce Wayne. But the other characters you don't care about like that. Which Thor is always Thor, but you don't care about like that side. I'll call it a side quest of Thor of just taking care of his home or his love story and all that other bullshit that they have him doing. You don't care about that at all. You really don't. You watch it because it's a part of the film. You listen to it because it's a part of the story. But you really just like, I can just do with him. Like you, all of us will be happy with him just fucking fighting in that, and then the few funny moments of him and Hulk fighting each other. Other than that, same with. To me, that's how I feel about those characters. Hulk. I know
I
Superman's decent. Hulk,
I
Superman,
disagree.
and
I
Thor. Really?
disagree actually. Yeah. Uh, if you did that, you would probably lose Anthony Hopkins as Odin. You would lose I think Renee. I forget her name, but Frigga. You'd lose her.
Okay.
You'd lose a lot of really good character moments with Loki. Uh, I know Natalie Portman wasn't, the second movie she wasn't, really in it, and there's a lot of behind the scenes stuff as to why. Um, But I'm not completely disagreeing because at the same point, like there are some characters like in Avengers, like we didn't see Hawkeye's backstory and it was perfectly fine. Like we didn't see all of, but we at the same point we didn't see all of Natasha's story, and then later on, hopefully it's not too much of a spoil, but you get a separate Black Widow movie, and it's like okay, this really would have
Oh, all right. What about
made when we see her later better because we would have saw these moments that she had with other
well,
characters.
I,
So I disagree to a point. I guess is the best way to
all
put
right,
it.
I have a solution, and me and Chris talked about this on the past few episodes, especially when we
Okay.
discussed Thor. Instead of a Thor and Hulk movies, what about a series instead? Like say a 2 seasons series instead of the movies. I think that would have been better because you have more character development through the episodes can be a half hour or an hour. That's fine. 45, let's say 45 minutes because that's usually what an hour is. So it's like a 45-minute episode, but you can get way more character development and a kind of the backstory, all that shit that you kind of want thrown in there within like the first say 4 episodes, 5 episodes of season one of a 10 episode season, and then the next one to kind of build up more. And then season two is just like what you really want. And you say you get. I'm just saying this just to make it easy. I'm not saying 6 seasons.
Yeah,
Let's say they just do two 10 episode seasons, 45-minute episodes. You'd get a
that's
lot
best
more
case.
from that, and
Best case scenario. Yeah.
I think you'd get a better story. I feel like the two Thor movies that I did see felt kind of they weren't bad, but they felt a little rushed. You get more, you could be able to take your time on them, and you have
Yeah.
45 minutes to tell this amazing fucking story without having to jump around a little too much. And then you have this next amazing story, and boom, 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 and then you get and then maybe the climax is whatever movie's next that involves Thor. So these would connect just how they all connect. I think that may have been better than just him in the Avengers or just him as
Yeah.
like a side character in any other film. But him as his own and Hulk as their own, no disrespect, but as their own films, I think they're better as series. So you're not getting rid of them and you're not just throwing them in another movie, but you're not giving them their own movie. I think
Yeah.
better ran out that way.
Yeah, I mean, I enjoy the character Thor, and I enjoy the world of Thor, like, cause I'm one of those dudes that like Norse mythology, Greek mythology. I love shit like that. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
So to get little bit more dragged out of that stuff and showing like his exploits and saving the nine realms and all that shit, and him training to be take Odin's place and stuff like that, and then having Loki's mischievous interaction and back and forth always undermining, like it would have been dope. And we kind of get that with Loki, the series, that you get to now see kind of a lot of the behind the scenes and what the fuck this guy was doing no matter what, like you know what I mean. So that's why I'm like, man, it probably would have been a little bit better, just because these movies, like I said, like even though they play a role and each one of these movies have so many things that are still vital to the grand picture of it all,
Hmm.
they just miscarried some of the stuff, and little things too that like annoyed me, like we said on the end credit scene of Dark World, where fucking Thor's crew is taking the fucking ether to the collector, and they tell him, well, yeah, we already got a fucking Infinity Stone. Shut the fuck up. Why are you telling him you got another one? And like yeah, shit like that just irks the fuck out of me. You're like, you're trying to safeguard and have a secret, yet you're telling him about another secret you got.
Yeah.
hey, it's
Small
Well,
missteps.
yeah.
Small missteps.
If now that that is an option, I mean going forward, I think yeah, when they have a character that they want to introduce, or it's hard to really get their story in a movie, they're gonna throw it into a TV series, which is
yeah,
great. They're
and,
doing that right now.
and
Um,
don't get me wrong, like you can even introduce him to an Avengers movie because
yeah,
again, they showed a lot of. I'm just going by the animated series because it's what I know. They showed a lot of the Avengers that we know of in those cartoons.
yeah,
So it's like you show them, you introduce them into there. But it's like that's a cool fucking character. You get a piece of their character from the animated series, but it's like I would like to see how they are like deeper without having to go through the comic books. Not that I wouldn't mind reading them, but it's just that's too much fucking work. Let me just see
yeah.
TV. Let me see this on film.
Where do you even start with a comic book? Like which,
I don't
you know?
fucking
At
and
this point, you can't.
that's another thing. And I mean, like, say if you had access to these comic books, it's like, which ones do I start with? Which ones do I go down? Of course, it'd be amazing to be able to read every single one and get all the knowledge, but I don't have that kind of time.
Yeah, which
Marvel
generation do you
Unlimited.
want to follow?
I did Marvel Unlimited for a little bit, and I started with Avengers Disassembled or something like that, and then like 4 or 5 characters I didn't even hear of popped up like within the third issue, and I'm like, who are these people? And if you try to go back and learn about them, then you're gonna learn about 5 or 4 more other characters you didn't know about. You're like, who are these people? So it's like that's why like they really with these movies they boil it down and they really start they give you a starting point and can start introducing
Yes,
characters over time as opposed
yes.
to just like jumping in the Infinity War
Mhm.
comics and being like, who's Quasar? Who what? Like
Right.
why is he important? What is what what does the guy who ends up getting the gauntlet and the gold guy like what does he do, what is his power set, what is why is he important, like we're gonna see him later on apparently, but like there's so many characters that like they exist and you don't know why they matter, but they're there, they do something cool and then they leave. It's like okay, great.
What is really cool about what Marvel is doing though is again going back to for those of you who did read the comic books, I know for a fact you guys love this as much as us that just watch the animated series. Um, and seeing these characters come to life, but not only come to life, but in such an awesome way. And I'll just stick with like the Avengers movies, how they just collect in an awesome way. Captain America, he's one that deserves his own film. This was an awesome movie, awesome character, and you kind of care about the whole character.
Yep.
And I just love how they made it come to life versus again because they could have fucked up with this movie. They could have made it to where it's like they could have did a bad job with this movie to where it's like okay, this could have been kind of like where Captain America could have just been like a series or just in Avengers as well. Not saying they did bad with Thor. I just feel like with Thor's character, a series would have been better. But with the way they did this movie, they did it damn near perfect, and they made you really like care for Captain America, like really like this guy's a real fucking hero. Like you could look up to him as an adult. You could look up to Captain America's character as an adult, not just children looking up to him because of all the cool shit he does and the positive shit he does, but you can look up to him as an adult. And this guy, I mean, he has some faults, of course. Nobody's perfect, but deep down, when shit hits the fan, he's gonna do the right thing. What he feels is right, which is 90, I'll say 99.9% right. From what I've seen, 100% right. But again, he's human, so I'll say 99.9. Give him that slight, just in case he fucks up.
To give these guys another kudo as far as the filmmakers, the writers, the directors, and all that. Marvel and their crew, they've done such an amazing job at also using the context of the work that's already there and not swaying from it so much to the point that now it's unrecognizable. And this is probably the closest you're ever going to get to something that it has an original content already created, that stuff that's there for them to reference, and they like almost hit it on note for note. You know what I mean? So it's like, to me, it's amazing. I love it. I love that they do that because if you're a person from not that generation, you still get to enjoy the
Mm-hmm.
story. You know what I mean? From what we were first doing and listening or reading or whatnot, or at least scrolling through the pictures and making the
Yeah,
story as we go without even reading the full story, but we still know the gist of it and what happened or whatnot, and that followed along for edition after edition after edition, every week or a couple weeks whenever these dropped. I know I used to get excited, and fucking one of the card stores, comic book stores down in the city used to be like down a basement pretty much, and you go in there, it was almost like a fucking speakeasy record store type comic book store. But it
that
was
sounds amazing.
so dope. It was dark, it was dirty, but you get your fucking comic book, and if it had a special cover, a hologram cover, shit like some of DC's and some of X-Men's, Uncanny X-Men's used to do, like you were, fuck yeah, like this is the best $2 I can ask my parents to spend for a couple weeks. You know what I mean? And you just keep reading and reading, and then it became like, all right, I'm gonna collect these things, and my dad made sure that we had the fucking protective sleeves with the dividers, one in front, one on back, and I would try to chronologically, episode after episode, keep them, together or whatnot. And so now that the generation that's of the audio visual is getting these stories that we were enjoying, I think it's so dope just to kind of come back around and give it, because that just shows how good these stories were from the get-go. I mean, the
Oh
genius behind to make a graphic novel, to have the vision of it, to put it down on paper, to have the writing to it, like all of these characters being their own character and having their own personalities, and for the creators to do this in such a fucking massive way. I mean, look at what we're talking about for almost 15 years so far, with another probably 10 to go.
shit,
That we're going
more.
to be talking about these new series
Bro,
that are coming in movies and shit. Like,
I'll,
that's a big
I'll
deal.
I'll say more than that because yes, I know you're talking about just the cinematic universe, but you also have to. I feel like you have to go back to the comics. You have to go back to the animated series and the comics started how many years ago now? You know what I
Shit,
mean? Like way
fucking
before we were born.
yeah,
Let
man.
let's just for argument's sake, and I could be a billion% wrong, people, and I'm sorry, but let's just say 60 years. Let's say the comics are around for 60 years, probably longer than that, and they're still relevant because there's people who will go back and read those comics. There's people who are a fan of this stuff so much that they'll go back and they have family members that collected comics and they have every single fucking comic and they're just reading from that first one all the way up till let's just say today's comic and then watching all these films. And what these films do is make all that information. If I feel like, and correct me if I'm wrong, comic book people, correct me if I'm wrong, but they pull like all the big shit out of it, all the important shit, and throw it into the films in such a unique way, a digestible way. And again, worst damn gamer, you always hear me saying this on every freaking episode. These are the ultimate family films, and the biggest reason why they're ultimate family films because they make it so digestible for everybody, the husband, the wife, and the children, and even up to the little kids, because it's like you got the cool explosions, you got the cool costumes for the kids, you got the funny one-liners that everybody understands, and then with those same one-liners you have to, because they say something funny, so it's funny for the kids, but it means something completely different that us adults get. So you're like, yeah, that's funny. From our, we get the nostalgia from it, from our childhoods of watching these animated series or reading the comic books or wherever it is. You get the stories, you get the romance in some of them, which some women love, some men love too, but you know what I mean. So it's like you're bringing your wife to this, and then people just love it in general. Like we all get to just nerd out as friends and family watching these films, and it's so inclusive. It's so inclusive. Like everybody's involved, and that's one amazing thing that Marvel's doing. And it's honestly, it's doing it better than what we're doing as humans in real life. If you really think about it, if you really think about it, as far as the togetherness, no matter what your background is, fuck it, who cares? We're all one. We're all a team, and that's what Avengers is kind of showing us all with these awesome stories and these awesome battles. That yeah, so it's just, and you get deeper and deeper with each one. Like this one was deeper because it was more personal for Captain America. I feel like everybody kind of has their personal, from what I've seen so far, everybody has that personal story, that personal battle. You had it with this with Captain America. You had it with Black Panther and Killmonger. Like how
Mm-hmm.
Killmonger wasn't necessarily a villain. He was like, all right, these people fucking stole our shit, so let me get this shit back. And I'm a part of this, I'm a part of this community. I want to go be the fucking king of this community. I want to run shit the way I feel shit should be run. I want people that look like me to have this power and to be able to take over, to take what was ours, so to speak. So you have that, and again, you have the personal battle with this, and so on and so forth throughout all the films. Tony Hawk, Tony Stark has battled himself through all three Iron Man movies. He's kind of battling his inner demons, getting better personally with each one, growing with each one, mentally as a man, mentally as a scientist, personality wise, all that good shit. And everything gets better between him personality wise, and his suits get better every single fucking movie as well. So you see the growth of it, and it's just so amazing how strong these movies hold up again. And I'm just going up to the Winter Soldier up to this point. Worst movie was the Thor movies for me, which I gave them both sevens, which is not a bad at its from a 1 to 10, not bad at all. So I'm gonna keep saying this. There's never gonna be another franchise, universe, whatever you want to call it, that's made this many films this good to where it's family again. It's going back to family films, so where it's drawing all these people in to watch these films, and it's not just like no, it's the ultimate family film. It's the ultimate melting pot film. I say that
Mm-hmm.
because all races, creeds, everybody watches these. It's not like those movies where we all know how you have the quote unquote black films, Spanish films, white films, all that shit. To where I'm not saying not other people watched them or enjoyed them, but you're just like, we all have those films in our groups. Where we're just like, yeah, I know you've seen this. I know you've seen this before. It's like we've all seen this for whatever reason. And these are just like everybody has seen at least one of these films. I
Mm-hmm.
feel everybody's seen at least one of these films, and that's just awesome. Like you
Eh,
can watch
Yeah.
this with your parents.
yeah, all inclusive in so many facets. It just breaks so many molds for because it's not just generational. It's also it breaks barriers of race or whatnot. It's so even Black Panther, broke so many records, and as many as black people went out to see this. Don't get me wrong. The numbers were also there because of all the other non-black people too
Yes,
that
yes,
also
of
went to see
course.
this and brought
But
their kids and shit like that. You know what I mean?
you know what was dope about Black Panther? And what's dope about you could say about Captain Marvel too is that because they both do this actually. With Black Panther, they show like the uniqueness, the unity of African Americans. Well,
Mm-hmm.
and that would be Wakanda, but and then they show in like a positive light, and then they show strong Black women in that.
Mm-hmm.
Captain Marvel, they show strong women just in general, and that's just awesome. Like you're not seeing the typical Guile Street Fighter hero, white guy, no disrespect, but you're not just seeing that all throughout this universe, which I fucking love about that. You're seeing men, women of different religions, different races, different backgrounds in general, which again makes it all inclusive because we all look like somebody, and I don't mean physically look like people. I just mean someone that looks like us, someone that
Right.
represents us in this film.
The only time race is ever brought up in any of this is only when you're talking about species, essentially races of species of different
Yes,
worlds or different entities of different planets or
very
whatnot.
true,
And it's
very
and
true.
that's a different scope than what we're used to, especially right now in our social climates. You know what I mean? Because we're all about American versus this, or Russian versus this, or black, white, Chinese, Asian, whatever. You know what I mean? However you want to set apart demographics. And this is one of those things that not one point in time does anybody say anything about a specific thing unless you're talking about the whole group of them with a situation and the
Different
context
teams,
that's
yeah.
occurring within the movie, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Black Panther was one of my favorite movie going experiences. Actually,
That's awesome.
it's not my favorite movie. I like a lot of it. There's the third act action was kind of wonky, but that was one where like I think pretty much since Avengers I've seen them opening night, like Friday or Thursday, the night they open. I'm out there, and Black Panther was one. I was like, I don't know, like Infinity War is right around the corner. Maybe I don't need to see this one opening night. And I was like, damn it, I gotta see this one opening night too. I have to.
Mm-hmm.
And I ended up going out, and I'm going. You guys should know Clifton Park, like you
Yeah.
know, not the most ethnically diverse neighborhood, but like I show up, I see the movie, I walk out, and all of a sudden it's like people of all shapes and colors. And when I walked out the exit, there was like a whole family, and they had actually wheeled their father out on a wheelchair to come see this movie. I'm like, holy, like this is important. This is like they're seeing themselves represented in a way that they're not normally represented. They're kings and queens and
Exactly.
in their own nation, and they're not. It's not how do we picture ourselves if we could run ourselves in a very above uh first world,
Yeah. Oh,
how would it look?
But
And I thought that was it was just like, wow, this is amazing.
but also with the humility and humbleness that they understand there's a world out there, and they're not afraid to help or be involved in the world out there. They just don't want nothing coming to their door.
exactly.
So it's
And
like we cool
Well,
with everybody.
that came at the
Just
end.
don't
That
fuck
came at
with
the end.
us.
He yelled at his father like, "Hey, you guys isolated for too long. There's so many of us out there that need our help,"
Yep.
which I think is great. It's just like Star Trek and some of these other movies do it, where they represent they talk about something like you're talking about as different species or something. So when they're talking about like racism or whatever, there's gonna be one species over another species that the greens versus the blues or whatever, and but like normally it's always going to be white people that are like, oh, they're the ones who have all the stuff and they're keeping it from other people. And it's like, okay, well, would it be any different on the other side of if it was the other way around? And they're like, maybe it would, but it doesn't need to be. Like, we could be better. So
yeah,
I thought that was really well done. A lot of that was really well done. So that was awesome.
just speaking on just because we're speaking on with Black Panther, which I think is awesome about this film. I fucking loved it, by the way.
Yo, I'm sorry, 1 second. James is invited to the barbecue.
Oh yeah,
I just
of
gotta
course.
say that. I just gotta do that. James gets a plate and he sits down.
Speak-
And he sits down. And I'll put it to you like this: not only do you sit, you're not just sitting down next to like mine and Chris's random cousins. You're sitting with us, so you're good. Like, yo, this is our boy. He's good. Yo, Chris,
I'll, br-
I'll tell my cousins. You tell your cousins, do not fuck with him,
Nobody's
please.
fucking with James.
Don't make him feel uncomfortable. But
I'll
everybody else,
bring that. I'll bring that bland ass potato salad with the raisins in it. If you guys know what I'm talking, you know what I'm talking about.
you
Do you know what I'm talking about?
know what, guys? You guys can crack jokes out of it. He just cut himself up.
It's from Chadwick Boseman's doing his he was on was it Black Jeopardy or whatever from SNL?
Okay.
That's what that's from. That's what that's from.
But no, what I wanted to say about that with the Black Panther thing is like how you were saying how like the representation and all that is very fucking important because
Mhm.
again, like I remember being on an episode of my which you guys should check this podcast out. It's called Video Game Crosstalk.
Mm-hmm.
My boy Anthony, shout out to you. Me and him were on an episode and we actually discussed Black Panther to an extent, and he was asking me like how it feels to have that awesome positive representation, not just the gang banger or the comic relief or like the silly superhero character like Blank Man, like a serious character. I told him I was like, it's awesome. And he's white, he's Italian or whatever, but he was like, he's never understood what it was like to not have that person that looks like because it was always a white male. Like even like he was saying, I don't know what game he's playing, but he's saying he picks a female character just because like it's different, it's outside the box for him,
Mhm.
and just shit like that. And I'm just it brought up a great conversation, and with that too, like the Black Panther movie brings up so many great conversations. And then my father went on a date with one of his friends, don't remember her name, not important, but she brought him to see that movie. And my father is not a moviegoer. Like he's somebody who I think I went to the movies with him maybe once or twice, and he fell asleep both times. So like he's that. He watched this whole movie and he enjoyed it. Like Black Panther, he really enjoyed it. And that just shows you right there, like somebody that's not even like a movie goer. Like I'm not saying he doesn't like movies at all. He's just not one of those people that's gonna sit down and watch a movie. He'd rather be up doing something. He's a car guy. Chris, I
Mhm.
tell you about him all the time.
Mm-hmm.
He'd rather be talking about cars or working on the car or be at the drag strip than fucking sitting down watching a movie for 2.5 hours. He'd rather be at the track all day for 8 hours than watching a movie for 2 hours. And like he watched that movie and he really enjoyed that movie. And that to me that says a lot. That says a whole lot. And it's like again, going back to just all the minorities that went out to see that movie and that dressed up in dashikis and all that, that were just like proud to go see this movie because it was a positive representation for, and I'm not going to just say for black people, it was for everybody to see black people in a positive light, in a strong positive light, which was just beautiful because it was just like, oh, this is fucking awesome. This is fucking awesome. It kind of bridged the gap for some people, I'm sure, that was like, hey, maybe these guys aren't so scary after all, which we're not.
My one of my favorite things. The problem with the reason why it took so long to get Black Panther made, the reason why it took so long for Captain Marvel to be made, at Disney there was a guy named Ike Perlmutter, and he was above Kevin Feige. Kevin Feige wanted like the Wasp to be the character in Avengers, not Black Widow, but I know I love her, but like
Yeah.
it was supposed to be the Wasp. And then he wanted to get a lot of these characters their own movies, and this guy was old school Hollywood, going like they can't carry their own movies, nobody will come out to see them. And eventually he was able to like get this guy. Get me above this guy. I don't want to be reporting to this guy anymore. As soon as he did, he's like, before we get to our end game, we have to get Black Panther. We have his own movie. We have to have Chadwick Boseman leading it. We have to have Captain Marvel out there. We have to have her leading it before we get to our final movie of this run of movies. They have to be out there. That's why Captain Marvel was a bit rushed, unfortunately, and Black Panther was a bit rushed because they had to get it out there and they didn't have time to get all the special effects done. But he had to get out there. It was a shame that it took so long, but Kevin Feige really had to fight to get them in this run of movies before Endgame came out. So
And again, they're really important stories because minorities as well as women deserve those strong, powerful characters to where children of all races and genders can look up to that one character because the way that character is. We're not just all looking up to Superman, Batman, and Captain America. We're looking up to all those characters, but also Storm, the Blue Beetle, Black Panther, John Stewart's Green Lantern. You know, like all those characters, just all of them in general. To where it's awesome. It makes it more beautiful. It makes it more realistic. To where it's like as a kid watching this stuff, you're like, I can be a hero one day. Not necessarily, obviously, not in real life like a superhero, but I can be a hero one day to where I'm helping people in one way or another. And that doesn't have to be going out and fighting crime. That could just be anything positive. But I can be this hero because Black Panther inspired me to be this hero because Captain America inspired me to be this hero. And I just think it's awesome. I just think it's awesome. And I mean, I just want to go real quick. Rest in peace of Chadwick Boseman, to where, which was sad again, to where like with the Black Panther movie, all just seeing it on Facebook, damn near put me in tears with all the kids with their toys, like having Black Panther laid out. And these kids, this is children doing this, having their toys like standing around Black Panther, having kids like this crying and all this shit because they seen these films and they know that Chadwick Boseman is no longer going to play Black Panther. Like Black Panther may not be in any other films. They may recast him. I'm sure they will eventually, but it's just like they connected with that character. And this was kids of all different races that were just again, but representation does matter because then it's like, say we all grow up as friends. Chris, Blue Beetle Spanish, Black Panther, say Iron Man down there, and it's like, okay, we all have our own superheroes growing up as kids. So say we just all, and we're all on the same team at the same exact time. So that's another important thing with Marvel is you have different genders, different minorities, different sexual orientations, but guess what? They're all on the same team, fighting the same fucking fight,
Yep.
which we need to be doing. Which again, just some important messages in these films. They throw it at you, but they don't overdo it. They throw it at you in like an entertaining way to where you're not thinking about it, so you start talking about it, and they're like, "Oh shit, they really did do that. They really threw that in there." But you didn't think about it like that. And again, you're just like, hey, this is a good person. This is a good person. You're not thinking of anything else, but this is a good person. We should help each other. Simple. Simple as that.
That's the
Crazy.
genius of Stan Lee and Jack Kirby, right?
Yeah.
Don't
That's
recast Chadwick. I want it to go to my boy M'Baku. He's my favorite. He's my
that's awesome.
favorite.
Who was that? The other king from the other land that was like, fine, I'll help you.
Yeah.
Barking at the white people, which had me in tears. Had me in fucking. I was just like, oh, I did that to a couple of my white friends at first. I had to.
You're so.
He said something like we'll eat you or something. He was like, no, I'm kidding. We're vegan or
Yep.
we're vegetarian or whatever.
Yeah, I was dying. But you know what had me laughing about that part? Chris, you already know what I'm gonna say.
I do.
So you do. I tell this story a lot. So when I would make new white friends, whether we're meeting at like a house party or at work, once you got that kind of comfortable things where you know they can take jokes, but you don't know how far you can take it yet, I would always tell a race joke and just sit there for a second before I start laughing to make the white kids feel uncomfortable. And my white friends always come like, Aaron, you got to stop fucking doing this to us, man. This is fucked up. It's hilarious. I'm like, yo, it's okay to laugh, man. It's hilarious. And I got that vibe from that scene in Black Panther with the barking and we're gonna eat you, but no, we're just kidding, we're vegetarian. Like it's just fun. I love how movies can do that with race things or with quote unquote stereotypical things, but do it in a tasteful, funny way, not just like throwing it right at you or making it look too bad. Just kind of like sort of subtle, but if you think like that, you're like, I got what they're doing right there. Boom, it's fucking fun. Yes, thank you for that.
To bring it back, to bring it back.
Like, let's reel this back.
Really?
So Chris, I had seen this movie so often and analyzed the scene so much that before Civil War came out, I knew what the movie was about. I knew what the twist was. So I'm not going to say what happens. I'm going to tell you where in the movie they reveal it. When they're in the bunker and Arnim Zola is going through his thing and he's talking about how Hydra infiltrated and like overthrew governments.
Yeah.
There's a sequence of images that implies somebody killed somebody. And it's not said, but like if you look through, it's like, oh, are they saying he killed him? And Sir Sturdy, if you don't want Civil War spoiled for you, don't go back and watch that scene, or at least don't look at it that closely. But like, I was like, whoa, they're implying that this person killed this person. That's interesting. And then
you got you go ahead and spoil it because I'm not gonna figure it out. I'm gonna be honest with you.
No, but it's the reason why I don't want to tell you is because it does come up in a later. It comes up in Civil War.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So it will spoil Civil War, the big twist of Civil War. So like,
don't tell me.
Yeah. So like, but like, if you go back and watch Arnim Zola doing his monologue and watch what they're actually showing you on the screen. And it like, I was like, oh, that's interesting. And then when it happens to War, I'm like, oh my God, I know what's going to happen because they implied it in the last movie. So like, it'll blow your mind when you see it. I'm like, oh, they totally do. They totally do.
As soon as you fucking said that, I was like, and this is the best part about this shit, about doing this. It's like, there's so many things that I've seen this movie at least fucking like 15 times. This one I have seen at least 15 times, and that I still have not noticed. But
these filmmakers are also hyper aware of like tropes of movies, like, oh, here's the big monologue where the villain tells his story, but really he's telling a story, but he's just trying to keep them there so the bunker busser can come and take them out. So he's just stalling them. So like the whole exposition like dump is literally just to keep the heroes in one spot until they can get blown up. So like even in those moments, like these guys know, like we don't want to keep these guys too long. We don't want to keep throwing information at their face, and have them be bored. But really, it was actually setting something up. So I don't know. It's just
Yeah.
There's so much of this movie, but there's also some conveniences. Like, how did he actually? He's like 20 stories below the Earth's surface, and they blow it up, and they just crawl out. Or like they gave they gave Sam Jackson after he gets attacked by the Winter Soldier. They literally give him a lightsaber so he can cut a hole and get to the freaking like
Hey,
it's literally a red flame and a blue flame, so it makes purple. And like if you notice, like they
Yep.
literally did it on purpose. They gave him a purple lightsaber for the movie. They're like, we know we had to get him out of the scene. We couldn't think of a creative way. We just gave him a lightsaber. Like that's all.
I'm not mad. And it's purple because we all know that
Mace Windu.
grape drink,
But
Kool Aid.
This guy.
Mace,
if a
It
movie's
wasn't the
good though, you'll
stereotype.
forgive
Mace Windu
those
had a purple fucking
conveniences.
lightsaber in Star Wars, dude.
Hmm.
I mean, listen. What does Black Panther drink? It's purple drink.
Yeah.
That's where he gets his powers from. Purple lightsaber makes fucking sense. I love it. Thank you so much. Case closed with that. Case closed. What else could you say? Does it not make sense? It makes plenty of sense.
I
And
didn't.
Samuel L. Jackson,
Something is wrong with you, my friend.
you have Samuel L. Jackson is like one of the blackest people in the world, and I mean this in a good way. And why not give him a purple lightsaber? Why not give him the grape drink lightsaber? You know what I mean? I'm just saying, guys. I'm just saying. And give a grape drink.
If that helps you sleep at night, me and James know that he played Mace Windu in Star Wars and he had a purple lightsaber, which is owned by Disney. So
And
Yeah.
and isn't your background purple? Isn't your logo purple?
yeah.
Just saying. Boom.
Wow. Okay.
Inspired.
But yeah, but as I said, there are some very convenient points in this movie. But if it's a really good movie, you don't see it. When it's a bad movie, you stick out like a sore thumb.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Think of all the convenient, like, oh, it's so convenient that happened in movies you don't like, right? But like these people get out of these situations, like he comes back, like he didn't actually die. You don't care because it's a great movie. Like he got shot 4 times by like a sniper rifle and he somehow didn't die. I don't know how, but like who cares? It was great. He's good. We didn't want him to die. He didn't die. We
Listen,
believe he's a badass, so he would figure out a way not to die or stage it. Like
if 50 Cent can take 9 shots,
Thank you. I was just gonna say it.
Nick Fury can take a few.
Exactly.
But plus, he had all that technology like right fucking there.
Nick Fury
Literally right.
survived alien partial invasions. He got scratched by an alien cat, lost his eye. Nick Fury's fine.
He's fine.
I'm not gonna lie, my heart did drop the first time I saw this, and I was just like, no
well,
fucking way.
because you know that you like it's kind of one of those things where they get you with contract stuff too. Like you know that he signed on for the Avengers Initiative part and to get all these guys together. So you're like, he's probably not going to be around much longer. So they're probably going to find a way to exit him from these films. And so like and they do that with other characters throughout the MCU. We're like, is this the last time we're going to see them? You know, is this the last movie that they're going to be in? And then they're in peril. You're like, is this the last moment we see them? And then somehow they get out of it, or maybe they don't, depending on the situation. But like they do that all the time. So like it was believable to me that he died there to set up the rest of the movie. But when he comes back to him, like of course, because it's fucking Nick Fury. He fakes his death. They don't. I don't. I haven't read the comics, but I know in the comics he fakes his death all the time and it just pops up in the weirdest places.
By the way, Marvel, I'm just saying this. If you need Nick Fury to have a son that takes over the mantle, you call me. I'm cheaper than Samuel L. Jackson. A lot cheaper. A lot cheaper. I'm not
They're
as big
just
of an
shaking our head.
but I'm a lot cheaper. I'm just saying that, and I'll review the movies right after. I'll be promoting
Listen,
this podcast.
they want somebody that's cheap. They'll just bring back Terrence Howard or something, you know?
No, he wanted more money.
Wanted
I'm not
more
going to be
money.
greedy like Terrence.
Not yeah, but he knows he's not gonna get it now. Now he'll take the you know however much they'll give him. I think. I don't think is Empire
show
still
get
on TV?
canceled? Here's 50
Yeah.
grand. You got a mortgage to pay, right? Here, take care of it for a year.
I mean, I'm sure he has a lot of money. I'm sure he does.
What's good, Jahan? Appreciate you coming through, man. Your wife was in here. I appreciate her too.
Really fucked up. Just think about how much money. Just think of all the movies that Don Cheadle was in that Terrence Howard would have been in. And I will say this just because of the name. I think Don Cheadle is the overall better actor, but because of the name and the popularity, especially at the time, we may have gotten. I'm not saying this is factual, people. This is just thirst dirty saying shit. I was smoking and drinking earlier. It could be that. But we may have gotten a War Machine movie with Terrence Howard just because of his personality. You may have gotten that, or maybe a War Machine Iron Man movie. I don't mean Iron Man 2 or 3. I mean like War Machine Iron Man, where they're in it kind of equally, and War Machine, they're kind of balancing each other out. We may have gotten that, but Terrence Howard fucked it all up. And I'm glad Don Cheadle got the role because Don Cheadle's an amazing actor. And I feel like he gives you more of that serious kind of thing that Tony Stark needs as War Machine. Don Cheadle does. Not saying that Terrence Howard wouldn't give that, but Terrence Howard could also give that kind of, because remember when they got drunk together in the first Iron Man movie.
Yeah.
He kind of gave that. He could kind of be a little bit of both, but I think he could be more towards the kind of party fun side. But yeah, Terrence.
Listen, Don Cheadle's War Machine, he's savage. He has the most savage lines in the MCU. When you get to later moments and he's just literally like ripping on people, like freaking Chris Rock is from the Oscars is nothing on the things Don Cheadle was ripping apart the other Avengers with. It's like I can't believe they gave him those lines. Like it's borderline really mean, some of the things he says about some of the other characters to their face. So like it's like him and Rocket are some of the the worst offenders.
I can't fucking wait, man. I cannot wait.
Like I couldn't see Terrence Howard's character. He was too like straight edge, too nice. Not too nice, but he was very much like a military man. Yeah. But no, but Don Cheadle's, when they introduced his character, like, okay, we're gonna give him that main line. We're gonna give him the hard edge.
Yeah. Which again, I feel like you need. I mean, you have your name. You're fucking, before they trade him to the Patriot, is fucking War Machine. Like, you have to be serious. You can't be as silly as Tony when you're War Machine. You have to have some sort of seriousness to it. Like, yo, listen, your machine, you're way faster than I am, but this shit will blow you the fuck up, man. Like, this will blow you the fuck up. Like, I love, really quick, Don Cheadle's character as War Machine. I love, what was it, Iron Man 2? When Tony's like, yo, I need the suit back. He was like, Tony, can I keep the suit? He's like, no. He's like, I wasn't asking. Just takes off. I love that shit. And I feel like that scene right there is played off better as Don Cheadle than it would be with Terrence Howard. I feel like it would have been a little more jokey. Like, yes, it was a funny scene, but it was still a powerful scene. I feel like it would have been a little more jokey. You wouldn't have taken it as serious.
Okay.
Maybe. I could be 100% wrong, but that's just my opinion. Maybe it's because he did Empire, which wasn't a horrible show. I seen some episodes of it, but Jesse Smollett fucked that up. Come on. You guys got to stop fucking up, dropping the bag. Terrence Howard, Jesse Smollett, you end up on the same show. You end up fucking up some money. You're idiots. You're idiots. Give me that role, man. You need them black roles? Give them to me. Give them to me, man. I'm cheaper than those guys, and I'm not going to fuck it up. I'm not going to get too cocky. Not in the beginning.
Not anymore?
Not in the beginning. Later on, yes. Give me like 20 years.
He's like, I ain't even going to front. Once I get that money, I'm brand new.
Oh, fuck yeah. I'm 100% brand new. I'm like, listen, you want me to act like a fool in this film for this little bit of money? I'll do it, but I'm just saying, I got to bring some friends along now. Chris, come on. They need you, they're going to give you $2 million to act like a crazy Puerto Rican in this movie. Are you down? He's down.
Of course.
He does it. He's like, I do it every day.
I'll turn the accent on. I'll fucking dance salsa. Whatever the fuck you want me to do, man. I don't give a fuck. Especially if it's my first one. I'm good. I ain't got no shame in my game. I'm gonna get this bread, cancel out some of this fucking ungenerational wealth that is bestowed my family.
You think Puerto Ricans will carry them flags? Chris will have 1 billion flags.
Yeah, I swear to God, make me a superhero with a Puerto Rican flag as a cape, bro. Like, Boricua man.
Boricua man. Boricua Dino.
Oh shit! Fucking A. So Black Widow in this one plays a decent role. She what's with her poses? Like, why is she so posy? Like, why is she so like fly, jump from a high place and then pose, or land hard and pose? Like, what's with that? She's the only one out of all of them that does it. Thor doesn't even do it. He did it like twice, and then the rest of the time he's just like, boom, hello, like. But she's every fucking scene that she's in that something hard happens or something blows up, she's in a goddamn pose.
Because she's fine. Simple as that.
I suppose. I don't blame you on that one. That's true.
I write off everything that's going on with her as she's acting because Black Widow is actually an actress. She's always playing somebody. She's
Same.
playing whoever. So whether she's maybe acting tougher than she is or acting weaker than she is, if she'll do whatever as long as it gives her the advantage.
Ooh,
So if you think that she's posing, you got her attention. She got your attention. She's got you distracted. You know what I mean? So like,
True.
got me distracted.
listen, she's gotten a lot of hate. A lot of people call her like I've listened to some people do their reviews, and she's got labeled a messy bitch because she seems like in every movie she's hooked up with a different guy, and I don't agree. I disagree entirely,
That's
and I'll
just
give you my case for Black Widow being not a messy bitch.
Not at all.
She well, because everybody's like, well, first she hooked up with Hawkeye. No, she didn't.
No, she
She
didn't.
didn't hook up with Hawkeye. No, she didn't hook up with Hawkeye. Maybe she tried to because she was a spy and her job was to take him out by any means necessary, but he didn't take the bait, and then they became best friends. Like, yeah, her and Captain America kissed, but she was never going to do anything with him. Like, and they became friends. Like,
and
th-
that was a part of the mission. Like, hey,
Right.
yes,
there's somebody looking for us trying to kill us. There's a bunch of people trying to kill us. Kiss me now because public affection makes people feel uncomfortable. Which, all right, I'm gonna leave it at that.
and they had that whole conversation in the truck, and he's like, "I need you to be my friend. Don't be like for everybody else. She's always being
Right.
what she thinks they want her to be."
Right.
And he's like, I don't want that. You can be yourself. I need you to be my friend.
Friend,
So
Right.
yeah,
like
exactly.
he gets her kind of because she's been programmed to be a certain way.
Yep.
Like and in Age of Ultron, you're gonna hear how with the links that they go to make Black Widows to make them malleable and make them mission driven and only mission driven, and it's pretty horrific and it really adds depth to her character of like it's kind of like what was that movie with Jennifer Lawrence where she was kind of like a spy Scarlet or Scarlet Room or something like that. But that movie's about her being a female spy, but they were legitimately like sex objects as spies.
Mm-hmm.
And
Okay.
I feel like that's kind of all wrapped into the Black Widow program in a way that, you know, okay, I feel like she's always being flirty as a way to be disarming, but I don't think she ever goes there.
Yep.
And
It's a manipulation play,
yeah,
Definitely.
and they
which
fucking desensitize her. Like
yeah,
you'll see it in Black Widow 30. I don't want to ruin it for you, but yeah.
yeah.
Oh.
And like, and they prove it with that Loki scene from Avengers
Yep.
when she's like pretending to be vulnerable twice in that movie. She pretends to be
Yep.
vulnerable against the Russians and pretends to be vulnerable against
With
Loki.
Loki, she tricked me. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah,
Fuck,
it's brilliant.
She bad,
Brilliant.
bro. She bad.
More ways than one. I wonder what she smells like.
I wonder if she smells good, the man says.
No, what
Probably.
but both.
Probably.
How the hell did Colin Joe send up with her? What the hell, man?
I don't
That's
even
a
know.
Smoothness.
Listen,
Being himself.
all I gotta say is David or Pete Davidson. Okay, that's all I gotta say right now.
yeah.
Let's You want to talk about what the fuck? Like,
Listen, man, I'm gonna tell you what it is.
how do you
It's
go from Ray J to whoever the fuck she was with in fucking Kanye to Pete Davidson, bruh?
I'll tell you. You want me to tell you right now? Laughter.
Yeah, but bro, she's downgrading here. She went from like
But
kind of
it's
partial
it's
superstar to crazy superstar to
but but
he,
personality wise is a completely different thing than superstar. Like you could be the richest dude in the world, be the corniest dude and have no personality, or you can be Pete Davidson level and just be the sweetest, funniest person, and they just love it. And it's just like, oh, he's actually listening to me and
Well,
likes me as who I am as a person.
well, if you think about it, like Kim Kardashian has money, has status. She doesn't need a
Yeah.
man for money or status. She's
True.
got it. Like
True.
there's nobody else.
And just because it's that whole Hollywood upper echelon shit, it could be a control thing. Like, okay, well, Kanye is on a level higher than me because he's just as famous, if not more famous, and more financially stable. Pete Davidson, yes, people know about him, but he's at a lower status. He's lower financially, and he may have a big meat, and she just loves that about him. Who knows? Who knows?
True.
But no, seriously, it could be the personality and shit, and then it could also be like the status of I'm more powerful than you. because because of me now more people know about you have never heard about you before because you're attached to me. It could be that. I'm not saying it is, but you never know with famous people.
Nah, it ain't that. Pete Davidson made a pretty good name for himself just being himself. That's the
Yeah,
one thing I will give him. That's the one thing I will give him. No matter when you or where you see this motherfucker, he's himself. Even when he's in fucking like Suicide Squad, he's still him. Like, and it's
yeah.
like, okay, so it's like the Marky Mark complex. Okay, Mark fucking Wahlberg plays himself in everything, but you get tired of that shit. With Pete Davidson so far, he's just like, I'm Pete. Every
But
movie, I'm Pete.
you know what it is I feel like he's more personable, like
Yeah,
to the point of where if we were to hang out with him, we'd probably have he'd probably be more fun to hang out with than a Mark Wahlberg. And I'm just
well,
saying,
I
like on a
mean,
personal
everybody
level,
be fucking cheeching. I'm just saying, they be grinning from ear to ear,
Oh,
fucking
you
red
know what he
eyed.
is?
So,
He's
I'm
he's
saying
Paul
more,
Rudd. He's Paul Rudd. Paul Rudd's the
hmm,
same way.
hmm,
I'm saying more, so yeah, like on that personal
hmm.
level, where it's like more fun. Like I mean, I don't mean in camera and front of people trying to funny it up, like behind the scenes. Like if he was hanging out with us,
Yeah,
we'd probably have a great time with him versus somebody else that's just like, okay, let me tweet this. Okay, I'm fucking security. Yes, I know I'm hanging out with these guys, but keep them 77 feet away from me, especially that Puerto Rican one because he's crazy, and that black one, just get him out of the room. Matter of fact, just keep the white guy here. Get rid of those two. They don't know how to act. They didn't do anything. Get them out of here. Make something up. And Pete Davidson's like, yeah, come on, let's have some fucking candy. Let's have a drink. Let's fucking laugh and have some. Okay, man, let's fucking play some Nintendo and shit. That's how I feel what it is with him,
Yeah,
and
he's
that's more personable. That's more down to earth, and maybe that's what makes Kim feel more down to earth is being with
uh
some.
you know who he is? He's a little better than this. He's Jimmy Fallon. He's a little better than Jimmy Fallon, but Jimmy Fallon is always himself in everything too. Like
true.
he
Jimmy
can't
Kimmel.
keep himself from laughing.
If we go by night guys, who do you like? Jimmy Kimmel a little better than Jimmy Fallon,
Yeah,
or
I like Jimmy Kimmel's monologues and the things he says. I
what's
think
the
Jimmy
other,
Fallon's fun with his games.
what's
Yeah,
the other one? What's the other one? Oh, fuck. Crazy hair, tall, skinny.
Conan,
Right? Yes.
Conan's the best.
yeah.
Is he Conan?
Conan O'Brien.
Because and the reason why I say it because he's like kind of awkward and weird, but like quirky, but comfortable, funny, to where
Yeah, I could see that. I've never really seen Conan like acting in anything, so it's hard to say. But yeah, Conan's always the
just,
same person everywhere
just
he is,
I say
acting
just
the
from his
same,
like
and,
just from
and
his
everybody loves him.
yeah, Conan can come to the barbecue with you. You can bring him as a guest if you wanted to. Pete Davidson, you can come too, man. I don't care what Kanye says. He makes some ugly ass sneakers. I'm never gonna take advice from Kanye. Shoes. I don't care how comfortable they are. They're expensive.
Seriously, you don't own a pair, do you, James? I'm sorry. Okay, we good.
They're like five. They're like $1,000 for an ugly ass pair. Like
I'm
I'm
good.
not paying that much for ugly.
No,
No,
I'm
I don't care
good.
how comfortable they are.
I'm good.
Now you gift them to me though, Kanye. I will wear them, especially if they're comfortable. I
Nah,
wear them
I'm
shit all
good.
over.
I mean, if this is the only thing I got, yeah. But other than that, I
Nah,
mean,
but if he gifts them to you, just imagine it's like walking on fucking clouds. Yes, give me those.
them
I'm
shits would
30.
be on eBay so
I'm 30.
fast.
No, I'm 36 years old. I want some comfort, but they need to be like a lifetime comfort. Like,
No,
I'm not
I imagine they're like walking on glass, and like because everybody paid so much money for them, they have to pretend that they're really comfortable.
ah. I mean, as ugly as they are, though, they look kind of comfortable because they look like they're thick ass foamy shoes on the bottom, which you kind of want that foaminess so you get that kind of cushion. That's what I'm thinking. But yo,
But
listen, if
not
you guys
$700 worth of comfort.
no, listen,
Like
listen.
$99.
Here's how we'll figure this out. Here's how we'll figure this out. Right, I wear a size 13. If you have a pair of Yeezys, just let me try them on. I'll wear socks and walk around with them for like a day or two, see how comfortable they are. Then I'll let you guys know.
No
I'll
free trials. Nobody would buy them. You have the money up front, pre-order. That's it. Like you
no,
get
no.
them in the mail. It is what it is.
That's why I said somebody that already has a pair. Just let me wear them because you're only gonna people who already have a pair. You probably wear them like once in a
They're
while.
also not going to let you because then you're going to know that they made a bad buy. They're not going to let anybody know that. That thing's going to be in a glass case.
That's on them. Like, listen, man, you spent all this money on these fucking ugly ass, uncomfortable shoes. You're fucking
It's like
stupid.
buying a car without an engine. I'm not going to let you try to turn that thing on. I'm going to let you think it's a brand new car and it's freaking going to go 0 to 60 4 seconds.
Watch it. Watch it.
The difference with that though is you buy a car with no engine. Maybe you have the engine already. You're like,
Been there, done that.
that's a little different. I get what you're saying, but that's a little different than buying some ugly ass, uncomfortable shoes. They're just like, fuck, these are ugly. They're uncomfortable. but their name.
I'll open the garage door. You can look at them. That's the best you're gonna get. Like you're
What
not.
you got under the hood? I never pop the hood. Like
Worry about
racers rules. I never pop my hood.
Gotta wait.
Then you go
If you buy
underneath.
them off me, then you can look. But you
Exactly.
gotta.
Whatever.
I need to see the cash first.
You can do what you want.
No givesy
Do what you want.
takesies. All
Okay,
right.
so Project Insight. Project Insight.
Yeah.
Did you guys notice another Easter egg? When it starts like it's getting ready to load up and it's getting ready to target people, one of the first things it does in New York City is it points right at somebody in Avengers Tower. So it makes you think that it's gonna take out Tony Stark right then and there.
Oh.
I didn't notice that.
Wow, you're right.
Didn't notice that.
Right.
I mean, it goes like obviously like the Pentagon and like the White
Yeah.
House and all that, but like
Yeah.
Huh.
The Avengers Tower, like you're saying, the Avengers Tower is more like, oh shit, than the White House. Because the Pentagon and the White House, like any type of movie to where it's attacking America, it's New York, LA, the Pentagon, and the White House. Like in
yeah.
every fucking movie. That's it. It's like that. That's all that there is. There's no other cities or states or anything important but New York. Let's just say California as a whole, but it's usually LA. So say New York, Cali, the White House, and the Pentagon, and that's like it. It's like, yeah, we don't need to take out anything else. That's it. Let's
Pretty
freeze
much.
New York. Let's blow up Cali. Let's blow up the Pentagon. Let's blow up the White House. That's it.
Well, it's got to, if you're gonna have a movie that's talking about post 9/11 Patriot Act stuff, you gotta bring up Pentagon, White House, and New York City. Just kind of, not kind of subtly, but
No, that was a good thing. I didn't notice that because especially, well, for me, if I was a villain or whatnot, that'd be one of the. Well, I'm not talking about the political place. I'm talking about Avengers Tower.
if Chris,
I mean,
if
what?
you said if I was a villain,
Yeah, but I didn't catch that. If I would have caught that, I would have been like, oh shit, they're gonna try to take them out all at once. Like,
Yep.
You know what I mean? Let them catch them all fucking having a drink, trying to pick up Thor's hammer, and then all of a sudden, boom!
well, they're gonna take out Stephen Strange. You remember Jasper Sitwell mentioned him by name?
Mm-hmm.
We haven't even met him yet, and they're ready to take him out because that's an algorithm predicted that he was going to be a threat later.
Wow, that's true. That's true.
Talking about the algorithm back in what was this 2012, 2013?
Yeah. Fucking YouTube and Google, man. Talking about influencing the world. Shit.
Yep. What a way to do it.
That's the real villain of the movie, the algorithm.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
We're still fighting with it. We're still fighting with it.
Hold on. Now I'm going crazy here. Now I'm jumbling my movies. Was this the one with the computer, the scientist from Hydra? Okay. Just making sure. I was like, wait, I know I just saw this, but what the fuck?
Artem Zola, created the algorithm that predicts people's behaviors based on their stuff. And now that the internet exists and they can gather all this data on you, the algorithm can kick in.
It's fucking nuts. Well, welcome to data collection. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
How it goes. Oh man,
What?
I fucking love these movies, bro.
I had a great time with this episode right here. I had a great time. This was fun.
What I'm trying to think at the end here. What once Bucky comes out of it, pretty much Cap is like, just go.
He has his Luke Skywalker moment, throws his lightsaber away, throws his shield away, and says, I'm not gonna fight you.
Yeah.
Yep.
Great.
Which it was kind of on scaffolding too, kind of just like in the Death Star scene and everything.
No railings. It's like anything in the Empire. There's no railings anywhere.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
You fall in a pit. You fall in a pit.
That fight was definitely dope. Oh man! So once it's all resolved and everything, Bucky pretty much goes away. Cap goes back to fucking deal with the backlash of the shit and everything because he was against orders still. And then that leads us into the next movie. What the fuck was the end credit scene?
Oh, the twins.
Did you have anything else to add before we get that far in and we finish up and get like ratings and shit?
I'm good.
Talking to me or straight?
Either or.
I'm good. I'm the
I saw you had a pen, which means you had notes.
I mean, I liked the thing with Jasper Sitwell. We had kind of seen him in other movies, and then he turns out to be a bad guy.
Yep.
Oh, and the congressman from the Iron Man movies that really didn't like Iron Man. He turns out to be part of Hydra. I thought that was really cool, and just the coolest moment of the Winter Soldier Spartan kicking a guy into a Quinjet engine. Just come on, man. Come on, man.
Yep.
It's funny.
Yep. Taking on the whole fucking shit though.
That's
Kind of
funny.
sucked. Kind of sucked, especially for fucking
Oh,
Fury
and
to be out
Falcon.
of it.
Falcon. I think
Yes.
you see Falcon in other movies, but I think this is one of the best you see him is actually when he's flying around dodging bullets and like the the move of him like he's flying and then he just retracts his wings to fall like a rock and then fly again. I'm
Yep.
like, who
Yep.
thinks of this shit? Come on,
Bucky.
man.
Fucking
Falcon was really cool. Good. And
Bucky
then he fights
fucking
what's his face by himself.
yeah, Bucky fucking just grabs him right out of the sky. Fucking
Yeah,
I was like, oh, I felt that. Like
yeah.
people give Anthony Mackie mad shit, but I actually enjoy him, man. I really
Me
don't think
too.
he's all that bad.
No, he's fucking awesome. He did an awesome job, and he did it to a point to where he wasn't supposed to be the lead in this movie. He wasn't supposed to overshadow or not overshadow, outdo Captain America. He was supposed to be kind of be like that side character. He did it perfectly.
Yep.
He did it to the point to where you're rooting for him. You're like, oh shit, you get the feels, you care about him, and you want to see more of that character because of the way he did in this movie.
They only get shit because his first name's Clarence.
His parents had a real good marriage.
Yeah.
8 Mile, man, 8 Mile.
I don't mind them. I like them in Pain and Pain and Gain. I like them in fucking what was the
This.
Netflix show? Fuck yeah, this of course. Ultra Carbon.
I hope we love him in.
I didn't see season 2 of that, but I'm sure he was good at it. I love season 1.
Oh, what is it? I hope he's great in Twisted Metal. I hope that ends up being great.
What?
He's gonna be.
He's gonna be in Twisted Metal.
Is he Axel?
No, he's actually Twisty the clown.
What?
Sweet Tooth.
Whatever the clown's name is, Sweet
Sweet
Tooth.
Tooth.
Sorry. Yeah.
What?
And is he producing or directing it? I forgot. He's producing or directing our Twisted Metal series.
Yeah, I think he's
Anthony Mackie is?
yeah.
Yes, sir. Yeah, it's gonna be on
Holy
Peak.
shit.
That's gonna be
Holy
fun.
shit.
I can't wait for that shit.
Another reason to watch the Midnight Matinee. We got tons of news and shit.
The Z Network, Horror Sincerity, all that shit.
So what was the end credit scene?
It was the twins.
That's
Yeah, it was,
right. Sets us up for Wachovia for Agent Ultron, which comes 4 movies later in the timeline.
What's next? What movies? Oh,
Guardians of the Galaxy.
Galaxy.
I'll be back for that one. So, to kind of, I won't give a rating because I know it's coming up next, but to kind of transition into it,
Yep.
this is one of my favorite. Like, I have to. There's so many movies and they're so good. You have to start qualifying them. So this is like my favorite of like standalones. It's one of my
Okay.
favorites.
Okay.
I'm with you on that.
And Guardians may or may not be in that mix. We'll talk about it next week. But like
Nice.
it's hard. It's hard to compare apples to apples anymore because they're so
Yep.
different too. Like there's
Yeah.
different tones, and I can't wait for Sturdy to see how different Guardians is and like who are the Guardians? Nobody knew who they were, and this movie was a hit, and that's when MCU went next level again because they're like, okay, we know you can take these properties that people know and do something with it, and then you take Guardians, and hardcore comic book fans don't know who the Guardians are, and they fell in love with them.
Yep.
It worked though, and I'm glad they did. I'm not gonna lie, because Guardians is among my favorite. I'm not gonna say are my favorite, but among my favorite. And pretty much from here on, and I think I said it on the last one. After they set up like showing the beginning stages where you see Jeremy Renner, you see Black Widow start to come in and shit like that in the Iron Man series, and like the Avengers are starting to kind of piece together here and there, kind of convolutedly. This is where it's off to the races. This is where everything starts to really just the pace is there and it just keeps you going. And every fucking movie, I feel like from here on out, keeps you on the edge of your seat or engaged to the point that you're laughing, you're shocked, you just want to see what happens next. Like this is where it gets really involved for me, and this is my favorite junction of the timeline, the entire timeline. Yeah, the end and the climaxes and then the progression that happens after it is really good. But this to me, the next like 4 to 6 movies or 7 movies is like, yep. Winning for days.
Yep.
So, results time, gentlemen.
I'm ready.
Like fucking Who Wants to Be a Millionaire? I need lights and shit. I gotta get some shit going up in here. What do you feel this movie deserves, Sir Captain of African America?
8.5.
8.5. Okay.
8.5. Yeah, this
Okay.
was again. I love the way it told the story. I like this slightly because I think I gave Avengers a 9. I like this slightly less than the Avengers movie, but I feel like it's the best movie up to this point of the universe, and I can't wait to see what happens next. I love the way this story went. I love the way it progressed, and it left you wanting more. Yes, it was about 2.5 hours almost, but it left you wanting more. And you
Yep.
know how I am. Like,
Yep. Yep.
I don't mind watching these longer movies as long as they leave you wanting more to where it feels like this could have been another half hour and you wouldn't have been mad about it. But I feel like they may have probably just ended it when they should have ended it. And yeah, so 8.5. 8.5.
Okay. Okay. James, you're up next.
9.5.
Ooh.
It's just like I want to give it a 10. I just don't. I just don't. I want to give it a 10. I just don't. It's 9.5.
Okay.
I it's up there. There's a bunch of movies that exist in my like it's hard for me to always just rank them. Like this is my number one movie of all time. I can't do that. But I have a list of movies that like if it's on TV, if it's on streaming, or I walk into somebody's house and it's on TV, I sit down
Yep.
and wait till that movie's over. It doesn't matter what
Nice.
point I get in.
Yep.
And this is one of them. Like, the movies that are in my list are weird. It's like Breakfast Club and like My Cousin Vinny, but like this is up there with those. Like this is this.
I get that though, because you have it's like the different genres and they just attached you for whatever reason or another. Those other movies you just named, it's probably they were fun movies then. They came out at the time. We seen them at the right time, whatever age
Yeah,
you seen them at. And then you have the nostalgia. You also have like, who did I watch these with back in the day? Did I watch it with a sibling, with a family member, or a good friend, or whatever? So that also brings that to it as well. As like, oh, this was fucking hilarious when we were kids watching this. So you still laugh at those. We were talking about this on Popcorn and Pints earlier. Like you still laugh at those '90s jokes because you were a part of that era. You were a part of that when those jokes were funny. We thought they were funny. We were saying those same fucking jokes now to our kids will be like, how is that funny? Like that's fucking corny. And again, I said it earlier in this episode how where shit that our parents thought was funny in the 60s, 70s, 50s, 60s, 70s. And you can even say, well, yeah, so 50s, 60s, 70s. A lot of those jokes we may not have found as funny or we may not have understood because we weren't in those times to where those jokes were hitting and hot and funny and slang was hitting and hot and funny, whatever the case may be.
Right.
And with you know what I mean? So like when we go back and watch those movies from the 80s, you're just like, oh, that's so great. Or the 90s, oh, that's so great. And even the early 2000s, they'll say, oh, that's so great.
yeah,
And
it's up there. Dark Knight is up there too. The Dark
Yup.
Knight is.
Yup.
Howard,
Um,
we
but
reviewed
Real.
Howard Duck a few weeks ago, and it was my first time seeing it. But again, growing up in that era, I understood what was going on. Of course, like again, I mean, like the slang, the jokes, and all that shit.
mhm,
And I fucking loved it. I fucking loved it. I'm like, I wish I would have seen this when I was a kid. I know I
yeah,
shouldn't have as a kid, but I wish I would have seen it as a kid.
but ultimately, yeah, this is just just one of the best. And like it it just post Avengers, you're like, how are they gonna make this better? Where are they gonna go with this? And then they tell you we can take a character that you liked and you fell in love with when they're in a team, take them
Mhm.
out of the team and make you even love them even more. And I'm like, God, like
Yep,
yes,
you're
like
right.
let's do it. And then introduce more characters or bring back other characters and even make them better. And then like it's gonna keep going. And I just like I can't. I wish I could be with you guys for Civil War because there's so many more things to say. But I will. I'll be away on my bachelor party weekend that weekend, so I
Damn
have to
it.
watch you guys later. But yeah, I'll just finish it out there. If you looked at Nick Fury's, you have this last Easter egg, Nick Fury's tombstone when he's standing in front of it, "Path of the Righteous Man." It's a quote from Pulp Fiction. The thing he used to say, Ezekiel, whatever. It's
That's all.
like that's on his written on his tombstone because obviously everybody thinks he's dead still. So like his
That's dope.
tombstone's in
I love
That's
it.
dope.
there. But another, just they think of everything, man. It's great.
Just
So
because of that, I'm moving this to a 9. Just because of like
he
little shit
loves
like that.
shit like that. He
I
loves
love
shit like that.
Oh, and another reason it's 9.5. It's like if somebody says I like Avengers, it's not my favorite. Okay, that's fine. Like if somebody says I'm not even a big fan of like X movie, Y movie, X music, whatever. You're like, okay, that's fine. If somebody goes, I saw Captain America Winter Soldier, and it was just all right. I'm like, get out of here! Like, you can't even be my friend. Like in my head, I'm not gonna say in person, but like it like actually hurts you as a person when somebody doesn't think it's the best. Like that's how you know it's the best in your mind,
Nah,
because if anybody thinks less of it, then it bothers you, and you start trying not to judge them as a person.
nah, I
Yeah,
got no problem telling them they bugging. Straight, you bugging, bro. You are. Did we? Are you bugging? You must have been sick that day or something. You wasn't. Did you fall asleep? Because you are bugging.
what's your rating for this though,
Well,
Chris?
hold on, James. I gotta
Oh,
ask real quick. So, what would have made this a 10 for you?
ooh.
I mean, it could be, but I just can't, like, I can't do it. Like the whole time I was like, this is a 10 out of 10, this is 10 out of 10, and now I'm giving my ranking of like 9.5. So maybe I'm just being a coward. 10. It's a 10. It's a
Okay,
10.
I'm not mad at that. I'm not mad at that.
Oh man, I might have to get you to like send in a short video clip or something for Winter Soldier before you go away, or for Civil
Hey,
War.
so oh, I'll send you a 2-hour clip, man. You're gonna have to cut that thing down. Like
Here's your
like
episode. You don't have to do
I
anything.
wasn't that I wasn't even that well prepared for this one, so there's so much more I didn't even say.
Oh,
So,
God.
James is gonna get his own episode for Winter Soldier as extra content.
like I'm gonna bring it back to like and be like, so remember in Iron Man when he said this and this? Well, when he comes back in Captain America: Civil War, he says this, but Cap said this,
Okay.
her here, and he wasn't afraid to break the law. So therefore, like it's like forget it, man.
Oh, I'm ready
I don't
for
think you're gonna
that.
want.
We might have to
You're not
do
gonna want
that.
to edit that video, man.
We,
Put
we
something
might,
in here.
yeah, we might have to do a separate little thing for it. Extra
I,
content
I,
works for
I,
me.
before we wrap, because I know you're gonna wrap it up soon, Chris. I've been
Yeah,
honest enough, I know. But
yeah.
before we do get to that, and before you give your rating, if you don't mind, James, are you a fan of horror movies?
I'm not the biggest fan of horror movies, but
Yep.
I was telling my friend Dave is a huge
Yep.
fan. He gets me to watch some of the craziest stuff. But I am not. I'm looking to get into it more. So
Perfect.
you
I
know,
want you whenever we'll talk. We'll talk because I definitely want to connect with you. I would love to have you on Horror Research 30. And Chris, I think we should get on my popcorn and pints as well for
Why
a fun
not?
episode.
Why the hell not? If he's
uh,
available, if he wants to
I
do
set
it.
the bar too high. I set the bar too high, man. Because I'm not this way with every movie. Just the ones I really, really like. Right?
That's fine though. Like you'll see, like we review a lot of shit, and we will be honest about it, and that's the fun part of it too. So I think my favorite episode, like don't get me wrong, I love when we all enjoy the movies and love the movies, but I love those episodes where it's all over. Like say Chris likes it, I hate it, and say the other guys love it or hate it, to where it's just like a fun debate, a fun conversation, to where you're almost trying to convince the other people to like the movie more,
Or
and
less,
sometimes it works. So
or less, depending on how you feel about
exactly. Sometimes it works for better or for worse, and sometimes it's just like fuck it, man. I hated this or I loved it, and you're not gonna change my mind. But
Right.
it's
it.
such a fun idea, and I think I would love to have you a part of some of these episodes because you just from what you were saying on this episode and just like your deep dive and just like I'm like yeah, this guy he gets it. He enjoys film for better or for worse, he enjoys film. He'll break it down. He'll have fun with it and not be uptight or butthurt about what other people feel about a certain film. He's like, this is how I feel about it. I don't give a fuck how you feel about it. This is how I feel about it, and that's it. And I love that. I think it's gonna be a good time. I know it's gonna be a good time because this was a great time.
Thanks. I appreciate it.
Oh hell yeah, man!
We'll be in touch for sure.
Definitely. Chris set it up.
Uh, Easy. James. His name's Sir Sturdy. Find him.
Okay.
All right, so now it's my turn for the results here, and honestly, I'm right there with James. I'm giving this thing a 9.5. The only reason it's getting a 9.5 and not a 10 out of me is because there's probably one more movie, possibly two, left in the entire timeline that are gonna get the 10. Should I be giving this a 10? Maybe, maybe not. Had this been the only movie of this caliber in the entire timeline, and this was the time of when it came out, and I saw it, like fucking, I think I saw it 3 times in the theater, and then I saw it probably like 8 or 10
Nice.
more times after it came out or whatnot. Like I used to fall asleep to this movie, but yeah. So, man, yeah,
So you're
this
grading on a curve? What's going on? Like
no,
can't
well,
be, can't be more than 2 10s in your
No, because I don't, because like I said, there's still others that I like more than this one, so that's why
Okay,
I'm like, okay, so
fair.
those are gonna be the 10 probably. You know what I mean?
Okay.
But yeah, honestly, and that's the only thing, and it sucks too because they're so close to all of each other. And these are the movies that, like, when people ask me, what's your favorite MCU movie or whatnot, it depends on the fucking day that you ask me. Those three will get juggled. Like you could ask me on a Tuesday if I had a great day, I'm gonna give you in a certain order. You could ask me 3 months later if I had a shitty day, and it's gonna be fucking mixed up, but it's still gonna be the same three that I have
Yeah,
as
I
the top
understand.
three.
I understand completely.
But yeah, this was, like I said, one of my favorite movies to watch over and over again. And once we get to the next chapter of Captain America's standalone, you'll see me get even more excited because then it's almost like a cheat because Avengers was really good and I gave it a 9, and that's kind of a cheat because it has so many players on the field, and so
Yeah.
many things that you were built up to that finally collide and come together. And
Mm-hmm.
this is, like you said, it's a standalone. This is from its own shit. Yes, you see other Avengers involved in certain aspects, but it's not as in depth as an Age of Ultron or Endgame, or you know what I mean. So it's super dope. And then, like you said, with Guardians coming, that's another one that I hold in high regard, and it's gonna be tough for me to just, so like you're getting my rating on the moment. We're in the energy, where you know what I mean, but this is top notch, high caliber movie watching, storytelling, engagement. The attraction to the characters, the whole connection that you have as the viewer to the characters and playing both sides and all this stuff, like I fucking love this movie. Love this movie. I think they did great. I will say it to the end of time. Everybody needs to see this movie. Like, almost to the point that, like, if you never saw any other MCU movie, this would be one of those that you're like, okay, fine. That's the only one you saw. You picked one of the fucking best ones. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? It's like, not, no harm, no foul. Don't worry about it. You're crazy because you haven't seen the other ones. You're crazy that this didn't make you want to see the ones before the ones after. But yeah, I can't knock it, and I can't fucking complain not one little bit at all with these movies.
So so sturdy. What were the things that made you knock a point and a half off of it so I can convince you that you're wrong?
Um, I'm
Just kidding.
I'm
I'm just messing with you.
I'm gonna steal Chris's thing because I said I gave it a 9. Just because from what I've seen from this whole universe, this is not my favorite.
Okay. What was
So
your favorite? Which one?
Black Panther
Oh, okay.
favorite so far,
Yeah.
and just because of not only was it a good movie, but just because of the representation and all that stuff, which is very important, especially for the youth, to where you see someone that looks like you doing something positive as far as a whole fucking
Gotcha.
country, as far as like
Captain
the whole,
America, Winter Soldier, too many white people. Got it. Got it. Figured
yeah,
it out.
yep, way too many, way too many. Thank God Nick Fury was in this shit.
Yo, this is not even the most whitewashed movie of them all. The Thor
Nope.
movies are.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
Hey,
I mean
hey.
Idris Elba's in it.
Idris is in there somewhere.
Yeah,
He
he
has
is.
like 3 lines, I
He
think,
is. He does.
and he gets
Space.
frozen at some point.
There's
No, but
there's Idris Elba and the Asian guy. Done.
but no, but all jokes like that really does help, and it really does matter because it's like cool. You see somebody that's again not that silly, jokey blank man for the hero character. It's a real serious character. That's a powerful character. Has a message,
Hey,
and
Blank Man was a good movie. I
Mm-hmm.
don't want.
it's funny. It was funny. I haven't seen it in years. And then just like the person who played that character, Chadwick Boseman, and all the other awesome movies that he's done, like we did 42 on Popcorn and Pine. So you see that powerful fucking scene that he took a strong role of, and then just from that and Black Panther, the two that I've seen. I know there's been more that we'll probably cover later on down the road, but just from those two were very important roles, and he'll be most known for Black Panther, that which again touches so many different people and so many different families all over the world of different races, nationalities, all that good stuff. And so where we all connect with that character in one way or another. You know what I mean? Same thing with like Batman, all those characters. Like we connect with those characters in one way or another. That's why we enjoy them. And
Yeah.
yeah, it's awesome.
God,
But
they
this
did
was
such a great job. Such a
so
great
far.
job.
This is actually I don't know if it's my second favorite, but it's up there because I love the Avengers. I did see like I said I seen the first one. I seen Age of Ultron, and I seen what comes after Age of Ultron. for Avengers?
It depends. If you got Civil War, then there's Infinity War, and then Endgame.
Yeah, Civil War
I
is
just
Avengers
okay.
3.2
Basically
or
2.5.
yeah,
Yeah.
2.5, yeah.
All right, well, okay, so I seen Avengers and I seen Age of Ultron, and I enjoyed those movies a lot. I don't remember Age of Ultron. I haven't seen that in years, so that'll be fun to watch again. And that's one thing I want to say before we do wrap this up is like, yes, I can say I wish I would have seen these movies when they came out and then went through a whole cinematic universe a long time ago. But at the same time, especially for the podcast, I'm glad that a lot of these films I've never seen before, so I'm getting my first experience, and then getting to discuss it with either just Chris or with whoever else is on here with us on his show for my first experience of these films. And I feel it's one of those things where, like, you've seen certain films that you love to watch and you introduce your friend or your family member to it that's never seen it, and then they just enjoy it, and you wish you can get that, you wish you can kind of go back and watch it for the very first time again and just be like, oh my god, like, yes, you're still loving it, but that first moment is just like, oh my gosh, it's like
But you're
busting.
missing out on all that trailer shenanigans and the trailer fuckery that goes on. You don't
True.
know anything about that, like how they put out trailers and they just lie to you about what you're gonna see, man. They're
But with that though, that goes back to like the old school films where they put a bunch of bullshit in the trailer. Just you watch the movie, like what that wasn't even in the movie, and it makes you enjoy it. So I do get that, but still, again, just for the pod reasons of getting that.
no, it's I'd rather you go in completely blind than you see the trailers to
They tortured
see what
us.
you're gonna. Yeah,
They
I
tortured
love
us and play so many mind tricks, like so bad, so bad. And then it doesn't make it any better that fucking Ryan Reynolds got involved, and as Deadpool, they allowed him to fucking make these weird teasers that fucking you think it's gonna happen like this, and then nope,
it.
nope.
Yep.
He hints at certain things that nope.
listen, listen. The transporter would have been a 10 for me, but they put in the trailer that he deflects a missile with a pan, and then it wasn't in the movie. I was looking for that scene, and it wasn't in the movie. I was so
Yep. I get it. I get it. I get it. I get it.
Oh, I love it. I love it. You guys have been awesome. I greatly appreciate the conversation. I appreciate the engagement. The energy has been super dope here. We went pretty fucking deep into a lot of things with this movie, some of the others, and just life in
just
general.
scratch the surface, Chris. Just scratch the surface.
I know, but still, it's like, yo, but that's the thing for what just 2 hours. You know what I mean, like it's fucking in there. Like we did a great job. You guys are awesome. James will be back next week with our buddy Sir Sturdy right here, and also Charles will be joining us, and that's gonna be
Nice.
for Guardians of the Galaxy. So we're gonna have 4 people on screen. That's gonna get kind of dope. So I'm hoping we can try to keep that one to around 2 hours max. I know everybody's probably a little tired right now at 2 a.m. on a Sunday morning.
Oh, I'm about to game soon.
You're gonna game still?
Yeah, me and Henry were gaming.
Oh
I
shit.
told I texted us to go. We're wrapping up. I'm gonna go pee. I'm gonna come up, smoke, and play some more on the game.
Oh shit. Guys, thank you so much again. It's me, the worst damn gamer, reminding you sometimes you gotta be the worst in order to be the best, or some shit like that I always say. You got Sir Sturdy right over here. You catch him Tuesday and Thursdays at 8 p.m. on his podcast Horror with Sir Sturdy. From the best to the worst, you get me, you get him and another buddy. Sometimes other people shit talking it. We really fuck these movies up sometimes.
And yeah, we do. We do. We go. If they're good, we give them their credit. If they're bad, we give them their credit. I will say this, though, people. I will be going live in a few minutes. Once we're done wrapping this up, I'm gonna go pee pee like a big boy in the potty, not on people, and then I'm gonna come back up in game with my brother playing some wrestling. I don't know what Chris is getting ready to do, but so tune into that as well because I will be streaming it. You guys know how I am. Don't know what I'll be characterized as yet. We'll see, but tune in for that, people.
My ass is gonna be sleeping till probably 11 a.m. tomorrow. James, hope you have yourself a great night. Thank you, sir. Again, I can't wait to get
Happy
you next
Easter.
week. Oh yeah,
Yes.
shit! It's Sunday.
Happy
Happy Easter.
Happy Easter, guys.
Shalom and all of that stuff. Wrong. Never mind. Wrong denomination.
Yeah, get your Easter baskets, your Easter eggs, and all that other shit you guys
I'm
do.
out of here. I just gotta say thank you one last time to everybody on TikTok, all the new followers, all the new stream followers on Twitch and YouTube. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Appreciate the support. You guys keep coming, sending people my way. Let people know in your Discords. Come get down in the comments. I'm getting the fuck out of here. I'm shutting up. Peace.